Tonight we embark on a journey that requires you to suspend everything you have been taught about the nature of communication and the fabric of reality itself. We are here to dismantle a fundamental error that has kept the vast majority of humanity locked in a prison of their own making. This error is what I call the great misunderstanding, and it lies at the very heart of why your prayers go unanswered and why your affirmations seem to dissolve into thin air. We must begin with a foundational truth that has been obscured by centuries of literal interpretation and intellectual vanity. When we speak of the creative power that framed the worlds, we often refer to the ancient text that says, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Now, listen closely, because this is where the path diverges. Most of the world interprets this passage with the eyes of the flesh. They believe that the word refers to human language, to syllables spoken by the tongue, to the grammatical structures we use to converse with one another. They imagine a deity speaking a command in a booming voice, and the universe obeying that acoustic sound. Because of this misunderstanding, you have millions of people attempting to change their lives by merely reciting words. They stand in front of mirrors and repeat phrases of wealth while their stomachs churn with the anxiety of poverty. They chant mantras of health while their minds are fixated on the symptoms of disease. They beg and plead using the most eloquent vocabulary, thinking that if they can just find the right combination of words, the vault of heaven will open. But I tell you this with absolute certainty. The universe does not speak English, it does not speak French, nor does it speak any dialect of man. The word spoken of in Scripture is not language as you know it. It is vibration. It is feeling. It is the energetic signature of a state of being. To understand this is to hold the key to the kingdom. The great misunderstanding is the belief that you can fool the creative power of the universe with intellectual concepts. You cannot. You are vibrating constantly, and this vibration is the true word that goes forth from your mouth, not the sounds your lips make, but the feeling your entire being emanates. Imagine for a moment that you are a radio station. You can paint the sign on the door of the station with the words classical music. You can print brochures that say you play classical music, and the announcer can sit in the booth and shout, "We are playing classical music." But if the transmitter is broadcasting at the frequency of heavy rock, then anyone tuning into your station will hear heavy rock. It does not matter what the sign says. It does not matter what the announcer says. The only thing that matters is the frequency being broadcast. You are that station. Your conscious thoughts and spoken words are merely the sign on the door. But your deep-seated feelings, your moods, and your assumptions are the transmitter. This is why you fail when you try to manifest from the level of the intellect alone. You are saying, "I am wealthy" with your lips, which is the sign on the door, but your vibration is screaming, "I am lacking," which is the broadcast. The universe is an impartial listener. It does not judge you. It does not debate with you. It simply reflects back to you the program you are broadcasting. If you understand this, you will realize that the Word of God is simply a metaphor for the creative movement of consciousness. It is a movement of feeling. When the ancient texts say that by faith we understand the worlds were framed by the Word of God, it means that your physical reality is held together and shaped by the dominant vibration you hold within yourself. Let us go deeper into this, because it is vital that you strip away the illusion that words have power on their own. Words are merely empty vessels. They only have power when they are filled with the wine of feeling. If I say to you the word fire, it is just a sound. It does not burn you, it does not warm you, but if you were to close your eyes and vividly recall the sensation of standing too close to a bonfire, feeling the heat on your skin, smelling the smoke, hearing the crackle, and feeling the primal fear of the flame, then you have moved from the empty word to the living vibration of fire. That vibration is creative. That vibration is the Word made flesh. The reason so many of you are stuck in a loop of repetition is that you are worshiping the empty vessel instead of drinking the wine. You are using affirmations as a way to cover up your true vibration rather than changing it. You are trying to use positive thinking as a bandage over a deep wound of disbelief. The creative power of your imagination does not look at your bandage. It looks at the wound. It responds to what you truly feel to be true about yourself, not what you wish was true. This brings us to the story of the burning bush, which we must re-examine not as history but as a psychological blueprint. When the presence of the divine was revealed to Moses, it did not appear as a written text or a spoken lecture. It appeared as energy. It appeared as a flame that burned but did not consume. This is the perfect description of a desire that is properly held in the imagination. When you desire something deeply, it is a fire within you. If you worry about it, that fire consumes you. It turns into anxiety, stress, and physical illness. That is the fire that destroys. But there is a higher form of fire, the fire of the burning bush. This is the state where you are so one with your desire, so convinced of its reality, that you burn with the thrill of it. Yet you are not consumed by impatience or fear. You are sustained by it. This fire is vibration. It is the frequency of the wish fulfilled. When you can maintain that high intensity of feeling without the smoke of doubt, you are standing on holy ground. The great misunderstanding creates a gap between you and your desires because it creates a separation. You think of your desire as something over there that you need to attract over here. You use words to try and bridge that gap. You pray to a God outside of yourself to bring the gift to you. But the truth of vibration teaches us that there is no over there. There is only here. There is only the state of consciousness you are currently occupying. The universe does not give you what you want. It gives you who you are. This is a hard saying for many to accept, because it places the responsibility squarely upon your own shoulders. It means that the conditions of your life, your financial struggles, your relationship issues, and your health challenges are not punishments from an external deity, nor are they accidents of bad luck. They are the physical manifestations of the vibrations you have been offering, mostly unconsciously, for years. You have been broadcasting a signal, and the world has been faithfully playing it back to you. The misunderstanding is that we look at the mirror of the world and try to change the reflection without changing the face we present to it. We try to force the world to smile at us while we are frowning. We work harder, we struggle, we manipulate, and we use force. But the mirror cannot smile until you smile. To smile is to change your vibration. It is to change the feeling of I am. When we speak of the word being with God and the word being God, we are speaking of the identity of the Creator. You are the operant power. Your imagination is the God in action. When you imagine, you are not merely engaging in a daydream. You are setting a frequency. You are striking a tuning fork. If you strike a tuning fork in a room full of other tuning forks, only the ones that are tuned to the exact same frequency will begin to vibrate in sympathy. This is the law of resonance. It is physics and it is spirit. They are one and the same. When you dwell in the feeling of a particular state, say the state of victimhood, you are striking a specific note. That note goes out from you in a radius of absolute power. It passes through the walls, through the city, and across the world. And it finds every person, every circumstance, and every event that vibrates at the frequency of victimhood, and it draws them into your experience. You will attract the tyrant, you will attract the accident, and you will attract the unfair boss. And when they arrive, you will point to them and say, "See, the world is against me," but you summoned them. You called them with the secret word of your inner feeling. You invited them with the vibration you refused to change. This is the tragedy of the great misunderstanding. We fight the shadows on the wall instead of tending to the light that casts them. We must begin to understand that the language of the universe is not spoken, it is felt. Feeling is the secret. It is the medium through which ideas are impressed upon the subconscious. The subconscious mind is the creative womb of your reality. It does not reason like your conscious mind. It does not care if what you are feeling is good for you or bad for you. It does not care if it is true or false. It only accepts the impress of the feeling. If you feel discouraged, the subconscious accepts the order and discouragement and immediately begins to manufacture the circumstances that will produce more discouragement. It is a faithful servant. It never questions the master, and you are the master. But you have been a sleeping master. You have been giving orders in your sleep. You have been having nightmares and screaming out in vibration, and your faithful servant has been bringing those nightmares into the daylight of your physical life. The awakening begins when you realize that you have the power to interrupt this mechanical process. You have the power to select a new feeling, and therefore a new vibration, regardless of what the evidence of your senses tells you. This is the most difficult and yet the most liberating task you will ever undertake. The world tells you to be realistic. The world tells you to look at the facts, but I tell you that facts are nothing more than the crystallized patterns of your past vibrations. To accept the facts as final is to condemn yourself to repeat the past forever. The man who understands the power of vibration knows that he can stand in the middle of a prison cell and vibrate freedom. He can deny the evidence of the iron bars and the stone walls. He can close his eyes and withdraw his attention from the sensory facts and place it entirely on the feeling of sleeping in his own bed at home. He can feel the sheets. He can smell the air of freedom. He can hear the voices of his loved ones. If he can persist in that vibration, if he can make that inner feeling more real than the outer coldness of the cell, then the outer world must yield. The bars must dissolve. The doors must open. A bridge of incidents will appear, seemingly by accident or coincidence, to lead him out. This is not magic. It is the law. It is the same law that governs the orbit of the planets and the growth of the seed. But it requires you to stop being a slave to the visible world. The great misunderstanding is the belief that reality is what you see. The truth is that reality is what you feel. What you see is merely the delay, the time lag between your vibration and its manifestation. Consider the stars you see in the night sky. Science tells us that many of those stars may have burned out millions of years ago, but because of the distance, their light is just reaching us now. We are looking at a past that no longer exists. It is the same with your life. The conditions you are living in today, your bank balance, your health, your relationships, are the light of your past stars. They are the result of vibrations you held yesterday, last month, or last year. If you react to them, if you get angry or depressed because of what you see, you are simply creating new stars of the same nature that will appear in your future sky. You are perpetuating the cycle. To break the cycle, you must take your eyes off the dead stars. You must stop reacting to the echo of your old words. You must begin to speak a new word. And remember, speaking a new word does not mean walking around muttering positive phrases while your heart is heavy. It means doing the inner work of shifting your state of being. It implies a transformation of self. You cannot drag your old self into a new life. The vibration of the old self is incompatible with the new life. You must die to the old self. This is what the mystics meant when they spoke of being born again. It is not a religious ritual. It is a psychological necessity. You cannot be the man who wants to be rich and the man who is rich at the same time. The man who wants is vibrating lack. The man who vibrates gratitude and satisfaction. You must leave the man of want behind. You must mourn him and bury him. You must step into the shoes of the new man and wear his vibration like a garment. This brings us to the concept of the silence. Why do all the great teachers instruct us to go into the silence, to be still? It is because the vibration of the world is chaotic and noisy. It pulls you this way and that. To find your own note, to set your own frequency, you must shut out the static of the senses. You must enter the closet of your mind and close the door. In that silence, you are not just quiet. You are focused. You are tuning your instrument. You are deliberately conjuring the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Think of a time when you were truly happy, truly at peace. Recall that sensation. It wasn't a thought. It was a glow. It was a lightness in the chest. It was a rhythm. That is the vibration we are talking about. Now, imagine if you could command that vibration at will. Imagine if you could summon the feeling of financial security without needing a check in the mail to trigger it. If you can do that, the check must come. Because the vibration of security and the physical check are the same thing at different densities. The feeling is the spirit of the money. The money is the body of the feeling. You cannot have the body without the spirit. But if you have the spirit, the body will form around it. This is the secret of creation. We are moving from a world of hard objects and stubborn facts into a world of fluid energy and malleable outcomes. The great misunderstanding makes the world seem hard and unyielding. It makes you feel small and insignificant. It tells you that you are a cog in a machine, a victim of genetics, of the economy, of politics. But the truth of vibration reveals that you are the dreamer of the dream. The machine is inside you. The economy is a reflection of your internal economy of thoughts. Politics is the projection of the collective consciousness. You are never a victim. You are always a creator. But you may be a creator who has forgotten his power and is creating chaos by default. We are here to wake you up from that sleep. We are here to remind you that the word is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart. Notice the connection again. Mouth and heart, word and feeling. They must be one. When your feeling matches your desire, when there is no conflict between what you say you are and what you feel you are, then you are invincible. There is no power in the universe that can stop a man or woman who has achieved this unity of vibration. Mountains move, waters part, the dead rise. These are not just stories. They are illustrations of the power of the unified mind. But as long as you remain in the great misunderstanding, thinking that words alone are enough, thinking that you can cheat the law, you will wander in the desert. You will see the promised land, but you will not enter it. To enter, you must become. You must become the vibration of the thing desired. You must assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let us strip away the religious veneer and look at this mechanically. Everything is energy. Scripture tells us this. And now modern science confirms it. A rock is energy moving slowly. Light is energy moving quickly. Your thoughts are energy moving instantly. When you think, you are moving energy. When you feel, you are giving that energy a pattern. You are stamping it with a design. That energy must then condense into form. It is as inevitable as ice melting into water when the temperature rises. If you raise your temperature, your vibration, to the level of success, your frozen circumstances of failure must melt. They have no choice. They cannot exist in the new climate you have created. But you must maintain the temperature. You cannot be successful for 5 minutes in your meditation and then go back to being a failure for the rest of the day. That is like turning the heat on and off. The ice will never melt. You must live in the end. You must make the new vibration your dwelling place. This is what it means to abide in the vine. You must abide in the state of the wish fulfilled. The great misunderstanding causes people to visit their desires like a tourist. They visit the mansion of their dreams in their mind for 10 minutes, and then they return to the slum of their reality and complain about the leak in the roof. You cannot be a tourist. You must become a resident. You must move in. You must occupy the state. This requires a radical change in how you approach your day. When you wake up, you must check your vibration before you check your phone. You must ask yourself, who am I being today? What creates my world today? If you wake up in anxiety, you must stop. You must not proceed until you have tuned your instrument. You must find the word, the feeling that you want to express. It might be the word of peace. It might be the word of confidence. It might be the word of joy. You find it, you feel it, you lock it in, and then you step out into the world. When you do this, you are walking with God, because you are walking in the consciousness of the Creator. You are no longer reacting to the world is responding to you. The people you meet will treat you differently because they are picking up on your signal. They may not know why they respect you, or why they want to help you, or why they find you attractive. It is not your clothes or your face, it is your vibration. You are broadcasting a signal that says, I am valuable, I am loved, I am successful. And they, being receivers, have no choice but to play back that signal in their behavior towards you. This is the end of the great misunderstanding. It is the end of the struggle. It is the end of begging. It is the beginning of conscious creation. We are no longer children crying out in the dark. We are adults awakening in the light of our own being. We understand that the word is the vibration of reality itself, and that we are the generators of that vibration. So, as we proceed into the deeper teachings of this message, as we explore the specific techniques and the stories of those who have applied this law, I want you to hold this foundational truth in the center of your mind. Nothing comes from without. All things come from within. The world is yourself pushed out. The vibration you hold is the life you live. There is no other cause. There is no other God. There is only the I Am within you, vibrating, feeling, and projecting the great drama of your life. If you can grasp this, if you can truly feel the weight and the glory of this truth, then you are ready to move mountains. You are ready to stop speaking to the wind and start becoming the storm and the calm and the sunlight. You are ready to be what you were always meant to be. The Word made flesh, the living, breathing, vibrating evidence of the power of God. Let this understanding sink deep into your subconscious now. Let it bypass the guards of your logic and settle in the soil of your soul. You are not a body with a soul. You are a soul, a vibration wearing a body. And because you are vibration, you are limitless. The only limits are the ones you accept in your feeling. Tonight we break those limits. Tonight, we stop using words as empty shells and we start filling them with the explosive power of faith. Faith, which is the substance, the feeling of things hoped for. We are done with hoping. We are moving into knowing. And in that knowing, we find the peace that passes all understanding. The peace of the finished work, the peace of the wish fulfilled. This is the foundation. Upon this rock, we will build the structure of your new life. Do not let the great misunderstanding cloud your vision ever again. You now know the secret. The Word is vibration. The vibration is you. Change the vibration, and you change the world. It is that simple, and it is that profound. Now, keep this state of expanded awareness as we move forward to understand how to apply this in the specific areas of your life to cure the diseases of the body and the emptiness of the wallet, using the very same power that spun the galaxies into motion, the power of your own wonderful human imagination. Having established that the Word of God is not a spoken language, but a movement of consciousness, we must now turn our full attention to the mechanics of this movement. We call this chapter The Secret of Vibration because vibration is the bridge between the invisible world of thought and the visible world of things. Everything you see around you, from the chair you sit on to the stars in the night sky, is nothing more than frozen vibration. Science tells us that if we look deep enough into the heart of an atom, we find no solid matter, only swirling energy and vast empty space. This means that the solid world is not solid at all. It is a dance of frequencies. It is a cosmic melody made visible. And you, my friend, are the conductor of this melody in your own life. The baton you hold in your hand is your imagination. But here lies the secret that so few ever discover. Most people use their imagination to observe the world as it is. They look at their bank account and they imagine poverty. They look at the news and they imagine fear. They are using the divine instrument of creation merely to record the facts of life. To become a master of the law of assumption, you must learn to use your imagination, not to record reality, but to create it. You must learn to vibrate at the frequency of a reality that does not yet exist to the physical eye. To understand this deeply, we must look again at the story of Moses and the burning bush. This is not just a story about a man in a desert thousands of years ago. It is a diagram of your own psychology. It is a blueprint for how the high frequency of the divine interacts with the human vessel. Moses saw a bush that burned with fire yet was not consumed. What does this mean to you today? The bush represents your physical body, your nervous system, and your human identity. The fire represents the intensity of a desire held in the imagination. When you truly desire something, when you really want to change your life, a fire is lit within you. For most people, this fire becomes a destructive force. They want something so badly that they burn with impatience. They burn with anxiety. They burn with the painful feeling of lack. This is a fire that consumes the bush. It leads to breakdown, to exhaustion, and to failure. But there is a holy fire. There is a vibration of desire that does not consume, but illuminates. This is the state where you are so possessed by the feeling of the wish fulfilled that you burn with the thrill of it, you vibrate with the joy of it, yet you are perfectly at peace. This is the vibration that changes the world. It is a high-frequency energy that purifies your consciousness and burns away the limitations of your past. When you can hold a dream in your heart with such intensity that it feels real, and yet remain physically calm and confident, you are the burning bush. You are a channel for the creative power of the universe. This brings us to the practical application of this secret. How do we generate this vibration? How do we move from the cold state of wanting to the warm fire of having? We must understand the language of feeling. As I mentioned before, I had a lady come to me who was in a state of great despair regarding her living situation. She wanted a new home. She had a clear picture of what she wanted. She knew the number of rooms, the location, and the style. She had been doing what many of you do. She was using affirmations. She was writing down her goals. She was pasting pictures on vision boards. And yet nothing was happening. She remained in her cramped, unhappy apartment. When she came to me, she was frustrated. She said she had tried everything. I told her that she had done everything except the one thing that matters. She had not changed her vibration. She was vibrating at the frequency of, I want a house. The universe, being a faithful mirror, looked at her vibration of I want and gave her more opportunities to want. The vibration of wanting implies separation. It implies that the thing you desire is distant from you. As long as you vibrate wanting, you push the object of your desire away from you. You keep it at arm's length. I told this lady to stop all the mechanical techniques. I told her to stop talking about the house. I told her to stop looking for the house in the classified ads for a moment. Instead, I gave her a specific internal action to perform. I told her to close her eyes and in her imagination to assume that she was already in the new home. But I did not want her to just see it as a picture. I wanted her to feel it as a reality. I told her to imagine that she was sitting in a chair in the living room of her new house. I asked her to feel the arms of the chair with her imaginary hands, to feel the texture of the fabric. Is it velvet? Is it leather? Is it rough or smooth? I asked her to feel the sunlight streaming through the window and hitting her skin, to feel the warmth of it, to smell the scent of the new room. Then I asked her to do something very specific. I asked her to rise from that chair in her imagination, walk to the door, turn the handle, and step out. But here is the key. I told her that when she opened her eyes and returned to the physical world, she must not say, I am back in my old apartment. She must say to herself, I have just stepped out of my new home. She must carry the mood, the scent, and the feeling of that new home with her throughout the day. She must vibrate as the woman who owns that home. This is a subtle but powerful shift. She practiced this night after night. She stopped begging God for a house. She began to thank God that she was already sleeping in the house. She fell asleep every night in the imaginary bed of her new home. She felt the sheets. She looked out the imaginary window and saw the view she wanted to see. She did this until the imaginary act became more real to her than the physical room she was actually sleeping in. She saturated her consciousness with the vibration of ownership. Within 2 weeks, a series of events unfolded that logic could not predict. A friend contacted her about a property that wasn't even on the market. The terms were perfect. The location was exactly what she had imagined. She did not have to struggle. She did not have to force it. The house came to her because she had tuned herself to its frequency. She had become the magnet. This is the secret. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. And what you are is determined by the dominant vibration of your feelings. Let us analyze why this works. It works because of a fundamental law of consciousness, which distinguishes between thinking of and thinking from. This is the most important distinction you will ever learn in the art of manifestation. Most people think of their goals. They close their eyes and they see themselves as a tiny figure on a screen achieving success. They are the audience watching a movie of themselves. This creates separation. It reinforces the idea that I am here and the goal is there. This is a vibration of lack. To create reality, you must learn to think from the goal. You must step into the picture. You must look at the world from the eyes of the person who has already achieved the dream. If you want to go to Paris, do not think of Paris. Do not look at pictures of the Eiffel Tower from your home in New York. Instead, close your eyes and imagine that you are standing in Paris. Look from Paris back to New York. If you are in Paris, then New York is 3,000 miles away. You can think of New York as something distant because you are now occupying Paris in your imagination. When you do this, you create a vacuum in the universe. You have moved your consciousness to a new location in space and time. The physical world, which hates a vacuum, must rush in to fill that space. It must build a bridge of incidents to take your physical body to where your consciousness already is. This applies to money as well. Do not think of money as something you need to get. That is the vibration of poverty. You must think from money. What does it feel like to have financial security? It is not a feeling of excitement. Excitement usually implies you don't have it yet. It is a feeling of relief. It is a feeling of stability. It is a deep exhale. It is the ability to walk past a store window, see something you like, and know that you could buy it if you wanted to, even if you don't buy it. That quiet knowing is the vibration of wealth. You must practice looking at the world from the perspective of a wealthy person. When you look at a bill, do not shrink in fear. Look at it from the assumption that you have more than enough to pay it. Even if the money is not in the bank yet, the vibration must be in the heart. If you can maintain that vibration of having, the means to pay will appear. It may come from a raise, a gift, a refund, or an idea that generates income. The how is not your business. The how belongs to the wisdom of the universe. Your business is the what and the who. Who are you? Are you the victim or the victor? The vibration dictates the outcome. The secret of vibration also teaches us why we must ignore the evidence of our senses. Your senses are wired to report the past. Your eyes see what has already been created. Your ears hear what has already been established. If you rely solely on your senses, you are trapped in history. You are a slave to yesterday's vibrations. The master of vibration learns to deny the senses their power of judgment. This does not mean you are delusional. It means you are selectively attentive. You acknowledge the facts of the moment. Perhaps you are in debt, perhaps you are lonely, but you do not accept them as the final verdict. You say to yourself, this is a shadow cast by my past thinking. I will not feed it with my energy. And then you turn inward. You withdraw your attention from the problem and you place it on the solution. You light the fire in the bush. You generate the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You do this in the laboratory of your own mind, unseen by others. This is what Jesus meant when he said, when you pray, go into your closet and shut the door. He was not talking about a physical closet. He was talking about the closet of the mind. Shut the door of the senses. Block out the noise of the world. And in that secret place, generate the vibration of the new reality. Consider the tuning fork again. If you have two pianos in a room and you strike the note C on one piano, the C string on the other piano will begin to vibrate. This is sympathetic resonance. The universe is a giant piano. When you strike the note of success within your own consciousness, when you feel it, when you really vibrate with it, the success string in the outer world must respond. People who can help you will suddenly appear. Opportunities will open up. You will find yourself in the right place at the right time. You will call it luck, but it is not luck. It is resonance. You struck the note and the universe harmonized with you. But if you strike the note of despair, the universe will harmonize with that too. It will bring you more reasons to despair. It will bring you bad news, difficult people, and unexpected bills. The universe has no preference. It is an instrument waiting to be played. You are the player. The vibration of your feeling is the music. Many of you ask, how do I know if I am doing it right? How do I know if my vibration has changed? The answer is, in your reaction to the world. When your vibration truly changes, your reaction to external events changes. Let us say you are trying to manifest a relationship. You are tired of being alone. You have been vibrating loneliness and rejection. Now you decide to change. You assume the feeling of being loved. You sleep in the assumption that you are happily married. You wear an imaginary wedding ring. You feel the presence of a partner. If you are truly vibrating at this new frequency, you will no longer feel desperate when you are alone. You will feel a sense of presence. You will feel complete. If someone does not call you back, you will not panic. You will not spiral into self-doubt. Why? Because you know you are loved. The person who knows they are loved is not shaken by a missed phone call. The vibration of security creates an armor against the arrows of the world. If you find yourself still reacting with fear, with anger, or with jealousy, it means you have not yet fully shifted your vibration. You are still thinking of the relationship instead of from it. You must go back to the drawing board. You must go back to the burning bush and light the fire again. This work requires persistence. It is not a one-time pill. It is a discipline. You are retraining your nervous system to carry a new voltage. Think of your body as a wire. For years you have been carrying the low voltage of mediocrity, of boredom, of survival. Now you want to carry the high voltage of excellence, of abundance, of joy. If you put high voltage through a wire that is not ready, it will blow the fuse. That is why we practice. We practice in the silence. We build up our capacity to hold the feeling. At first, you may only be able to hold the vibration of your wish fulfilled for a few seconds before your old thoughts rush back in. Do not be discouraged. Just gently bring your attention back. Strike the note again. Feel the texture of the reality you want. Smell the air of your success. Touch the hands of your friends congratulating you. With practice, you will be able to sustain this vibration for minutes, then hours. Eventually, it will become your natural dwelling place. It will become your default setting. When that happens, the manifestation is inevitable. It is law. Let me share another aspect of this vibration, which is the tone of reality. Every reality has a specific tone or mood. The mood of a Friday afternoon is different from the mood of a Monday morning. You can feel it in the air. The mood of Christmas is different from the mood of a tax audit. These are vibrations. When you are creating a new life, you must catch the mood of it. If you want to be a successful business owner, there is a mood to that. It is not a frantic, running around mood. It is a mood of executive control, of vision, of authority. You must catch that mood. Put it on like a suit of clothes. Wear it around your house. Wash the dishes in the mood of a successful executive. Drive your car in the mood of a millionaire. Speak to your children in the mood of a wise and calm parent. You do not need the external props to have the mood. You can have the mood in your pajamas. And if you persist in the mood, the external props will come. The office, the car, the bank account, they will assemble themselves around you to match the mood you are wearing. But you must wear it first. This is what it means to be the Word made flesh. You turn the invisible vibration, the Word, into physical reality, the flesh. We must also address the subject of time. In the world of vibration, there is no time. There is only now. A vibration is always happening in the present moment. You cannot vibrate yesterday and you cannot vibrate tomorrow. You can only vibrate now. This is why you must never say, I will be wealthy. I will be, puts it in the future. The future never comes. It is always a carrot on a stick. You must say, and more importantly feel, I am. I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am free. Even if your senses scream, no you are not, you must persist in the I am. The I am is the hook that anchors the vibration in the present moment. When you say I will, you are vibrating waiting, and the universe will give you more waiting. When you say I am, you are vibrating being, and the universe will give you being. It is a subtle grammatical shift that represents a massive energetic shift. The lady who wanted the house did not say, I hope I get the house. She said, isn't it wonderful that I am in this house? She collapsed the timeline. She brought the future into the present. She vibrated the now of the wish fulfilled. You must become a fanatic about this. You must become a guardian of your own vibration. You must watch your reactions and your moods like a hawk. When you catch yourself slipping into the vibration of victimhood, or gossip, or complaint, you must stop immediately. Do not judge yourself, but do not indulge it. Recognize that by indulging in that low vibration, you are cementing yourself in your current unhappy circumstances. You are signing a contract for more of the same. Break the contract, change the channel. It takes effort, it takes mental muscle, But the reward is a life of freedom. The reward is the realization that you are not a cork bobbing on the ocean of fate. You are the ocean, you are the tide, you are the power that moves the waters. There is a beautiful mystery in the fact that vibration is invisible. You cannot see radio waves, you cannot see gravity, you cannot see the thoughts of another, yet these invisible forces rule the visible world. By mastering the secret of vibration, you are moving your center of operations from the visible to the invisible. You are becoming a spiritual operative. You are learning to work from the inside out. Most people work from the outside in. They try to change the world to feel better. You are learning to feel better, to change the world. This is the master path. It is the path of the mystics, the prophets, and the great achievers of history. They all knew this secret, consciously or unconsciously. They carried an air of destiny about them. They vibrated victory before the battle was fought. They vibrated the masterpiece before the paint touched the canvas. Now, as we prepare to move deeper into the silence and explore the technique of the still small voice, I want you to make a commitment to yourself. Commit that for the next 24 hours, you will pay attention to your broadcast. You will ask yourself, what am I vibrating right now? Is this the frequency of the life I want? If it is not, change it. Use your imagination to pull up a memory, a hope, a scene that makes you feel the way you want to feel. Tune your fork. Strike the note. Hold the tone. The world is listening. The molecules of your reality are waiting for your command. But the command is not a word. The command is a feeling. The command is a vibration. Be the burning bush. Burn with the fire of your ideal, but be not consumed. Be transformed. Let the old dry branches of your limitations be fuel for the fire of your new life. This is the secret. This is the work. This is the way. As you integrate this understanding, you will realize that there is no power outside of you that can withhold your good. There is no government, no economy, no enemy that can stop a man or woman who is vibrating at the frequency of their desire. To stop you, they would have to change your vibration, and only you have the power to do that. You are the gatekeeper. You are the monarch of your own consciousness. So, rule your kingdom with wisdom. Rule it with love. Rule it with the firm and steady hand of one who knows that the inner world causes the outer world. Let this truth settle in your bones. Vibration is the key, and you hold the key in your hand. Now, let us learn how to turn that key in the lock of the silence. We have spoken at length about the fire of desire and the secret of vibration. We have established that the universe responds not to your words, but to the frequency of your being. Now we must approach the sanctuary where this frequency is tuned. We must enter the Holy of Holies, which the mystics call the silence. There is a phrase that has echoed through the corridors of spiritual history, which commands us to be still and know that I am God. This is not a suggestion for relaxation. It is a scientific formula for creation. You cannot know that you are God. You cannot realize your own creative power while you are running around in the chaos of the sensory world. You cannot tune a violin while the orchestra is playing a fortissimo. You must find the quiet. This brings us to the profound mystery of the still small voice. Let us revisit the ancient story of Elijah on the mountain. It is said that he was seeking the presence of the Lord, and there was a great and strong wind that rent the mountains and broke the rocks in pieces. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind came an earthquake, but the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake came a fire, but the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, there came a still small voice. This is the biography of your own mind. When you are faced with a problem, when you are in debt, or sick, or lonely, what is your first reaction? It is the wind of mental chaos. Your thoughts race 1,000 miles an hour. You worry, you strategize, you blame, you regret. You are tossed about like a leaf in a storm. This is the wind. And God is not in the wind. You cannot find the creative solution in the anxiety that created the problem. Then comes the earthquake. This is the shaking of your physical world. You run around trying to force things to happen. You argue with people. You move money from one account to another. You struggle against the circumstances. This is the earthquake. And God is not in the earthquake. Force creates resistance. It does not create a solution. Then comes the fire. This is the fire of emotional reactivity. You get angry. You feel the burning of injustice. You cry out, "Why me?" You burn with resentment. This is the fire. And God is not in the fire. It is only when the wind of thought dies down, when the earthquake of physical struggle ceases, and when the fire of emotional reaction is extinguished, that you hear the still small voice. And what does this voice say? It does not speak in English or Hebrew or Greek. The voice is a vibration. It is a feeling. It is the deep settling sensation of relief. It is the inner knowing that says, "It is done." That is the voice of God. It is the voice of your own higher imagination, speaking peace to your storm. But you cannot hear it if you are addicted to the noise. Most of the modern world is terrified of silence. People walk down the street with headphones on. They drive with the radio blaring. They fall asleep with the television on. They do this because they are afraid of what they might hear in the silence. They are afraid to face themselves. But you, who are seeking mastery, you must fall in love with the silence. You must realize that silence is not empty. It is full. It is the womb of creation. It is the fertile soil where the seed of your desire must be planted. If you plant a seed in the ground, and then you stomp on the ground, and dig it up every hour to see if it is growing, you will kill the seed. That stomping is your anxiety. The silence is the dark, nutritious earth, where the seed bursts open and begins its work unseen. To access the still small voice, you must learn the art of detachment. You must learn to withdraw your attention from the evidence of your senses. This is the most difficult discipline because your senses are clamoring for your attention. Your bank account is shouting, "Look at me, I am empty." Your body is shouting, "Look at me, I am in pain." The news is shouting, "Look at me, the world is falling apart." To go into the silence is to turn your back on these shouting voices. It is to deny them your attention. Attention is the lifeblood of reality. Whatever you give your attention to, you give your life to. When you withdraw your attention from the problem begins to wither and die from lack of nourishment. And when you place that attention into the silence of the wish fulfilled, you give life to the solution. Let us be practical about this. How do you enter this state? It begins with the body. You must immobilize the physical body. It is very difficult to be quiet in mind when you are agitated in body. Sit in a comfortable chair or lie flat on your bed. Position yourself so that you do not need to move. Then, simply observe your breathing. Do not force it, just watch it. This simple act begins to slow down the wheel of the mind. As the body becomes still, you will notice the mind trying to rebel. It will throw up 1,000 reasons why you should get up. It will remind you of the phone call you need to make. It will remind you of the laundry. It will remind you of the insult someone threw at you yesterday. This is the wind. Do not fight the wind. If you fight the thoughts, you are creating more noise. Just let them pass. Watch them like clouds passing over a mountain. Do not grab them. Do not invite them to tea. Just let them go. Eventually, if you persist, the wind will die down. A strange heaviness will come over your body. A pleasant lethargy. You will feel as though you could move if you wanted to, but you simply don't want to. This is the state bordering on sleep. This is the magical threshold between the two worlds. In this stillness, you are no longer John Smith or Mary Jones. You are no longer a plumber or a teacher or a banker. You are just I am. You are pure awareness. You have detached from the labels and the limitations of the three-dimensional world. This is the moment of power. This is the moment when you are fluid. Now, in this deep silence, you invite the new concept of self. You do not shout it. You do not strain. You simply slip into it like a hand slipping into a glove. You bring up the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Because the background noise is gone, this feeling is amplified. It rings out with clarity. If you are sick, in this silence, you assume the feeling of health. You do not try to heal the body. You simply feel the joy of being healthy. You feel the ease of movement. Because there is no sensory input to contradict you, your subconscious mind accepts this new feeling as the only reality. It does not know that your physical body is in a hospital bed. It only knows that in this moment of silence, you are vibrant and strong. And because it accepts this as truth, it immediately begins to marshal the forces of the universe to make it physically true. The still small voice is the feedback loop from your subconscious. When you have successfully impressed the new state, you will feel a reaction. It is often a feeling of deep, profound relief. It feels like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders. It feels like the knot in your stomach has untied. That relief is the voice saying, "It is done." Once you feel that relief, your work is finished. You do not need to keep hammering. You do not need to keep begging. You have planted the seed. You have struck the tuning fork. Now you can return to the world of noise, but you carry the silence with you. You carry the secret knowledge that reality has already changed, even if the outer eyes cannot see it yet. Consider the artist. Before the painter puts a brush to the canvas, he must have a moment of stillness. He must see the picture in his mind. If he is distracted, if he is looking at his phone, if he is worried about his rent, he cannot see the vision. He must clear the slate. The silence is the blank canvas of the soul. God, your wonderful human imagination, is the artist. But the artist needs a clean surface. If your mind is cluttered with the fears of yesterday and the worries of tomorrow, there is no room for the new vision. You must wipe the slate clean every day. This is why we go into the silence daily. It is a mental bath. You wash away the dust of the sensory world so that you can see the new image clearly. There is a powerful aspect of silence that acts as an incubator. In the physical world, all growth takes place in silence and darkness. The child in the womb grows in the silent dark. The seed in the earth grows in the silent dark. The idea in the mind grows in the silent dark. Why are we so afraid of the dark? Why are we so afraid of the quiet? Because we have forgotten that we are creators. We think we are merely creatures who need to react to external stimuli. But when you remember who you are, you seek out the silence as a lover. You long for that time of communion, where you can shut out the illusion of the senses and be with the reality of your desire. Let me tell you about a musician who understood this. He was a composer who had lost his inspiration. He sat at the piano for hours, banging out notes, trying to force a melody. It was just noise. The harder he tried, the more frustrated he became. He was in the earthquake. Finally, in exhaustion, he laid down on the floor under the piano. He closed his eyes. He stopped trying. He stopped thinking about music. He just drifted into the silence. And in that silence, he heard a melody. It was faint at first, a still small voice of music. He listened. It grew stronger. It was a melody he had never heard before. He rushed to the keys and played it. It became his greatest symphony. Where did the music come from? It did not come from the piano. It did not come from his struggle. It came from the silence. It was always there, waiting for him to tune in. Your solution is always there. The money you need is there. The health you need is there. The love you need is there. It is broadcasting on the frequency of the still small voice. But you are tuned to the frequency of the earthquake. You must change the station. This practice of silence changes your relationship with time. In the chaotic world, there never seems to be enough time. You are always rushing. But in the silence, time expands. 10 minutes of deep creative silence can accomplish more than 10 hours of frantic physical effort. Scripture says, one day with the Lord is as 1,000 years. When you are in the presence of your own I am, you step out of time. You step into eternity. In eternity, the work is already finished. Creation is complete. When you touch that state of completion, even for a moment, you bring a piece of eternity back with you into time. That piece of eternity becomes the miracle in your life. It becomes the sudden healing. It becomes the unexpected check. It becomes the chance meeting. These are just the shadows of the eternity you touched in the silence. Many people mistake prayer for a petition. They think prayer is asking God for something. But true prayer, the prayer of the silence, is not asking. It is acknowledgement. It is communion. You do not ask the mirror to smile. You smile, and the mirror reflects it. You do not ask the silence to give you things. You enter the silence and become the thing you desire. You merge with it. If you want to be confident, you do not ask for confidence. In the silence, you find the part of you that is already confident and you merge with it. You breathe it in. You let it saturate your nervous system. By the time you open your eyes, you are not hoping to be confident. You are confident. The transformation has happened in the dark room of the mind. This brings us to the concept of the mental Sabbath. In the Bible, we are told that God created for 6 days, and on the 7th day he rested. This is not about a day of the week. It is about a psychological cycle. You define your desire. You imagine it. You feel it. That is the work of the 6 days. Then you must enter the Sabbath. You must rest. The Sabbath is the silence. It is the state of non-action where you trust that the work is done. If you are still worrying, you are not in the Sabbath. If you are still checking the results, you are not in the Sabbath. To keep the Sabbath holy is to keep the mind in a state of peaceful expectancy, knowing that the seed has been planted and the harvest is sure. The still small voice is the signal that you have entered the Sabbath. It is the voice that says, "It is good. It is very good." Some of you may find that when you try to be still, your body jerks or your mind races even faster. This is normal. It is the release of stored stress. Do not judge it. Just return to the breath. Return to the feeling of I am. You can use a simple phrase to anchor yourself. A phrase like thank you. Just repeat thank you in your mind like a lullaby. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This creates a vibration of gratitude which is the closest frequency to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Gratitude implies that you have already received. By chanting this inner mantra of gratitude, you quiet the wind and the fire. You soothe the anxious mind. You are telling your subconscious that the gift is already given. We must also understand that this voice is small only because it does not use force. Truth never uses force. Only lies need to shout. The truth of your being is that you are infinite, you are powerful, and you are love. This truth does not need to scream. It just stands there in its dignity. The anxiety of the world screams because it is trying to convince you of a lie. It is trying to convince you that you are weak, that you are mortal, that you are scarce. When you go into the silence, you stop listening to the loud lie, and you start listening to the quiet truth. The truth of your divinity. When you master the art of the still small voice, you become a person of power. You walk into a room, and people feel your presence. You don't have to talk much. Your vibration speaks for you. It speaks of peace. It speaks of certainty. In a crisis, when everyone else is panicking, the wind and the earthquake, you remain still. You hear the solution. You become the anchor for others. This is what it means to be a master. A master is not someone who controls others. A master is someone who controls their own inner atmosphere. They can summon the silence at will. They can find the eye of the storm. So, your assignment is to carve out time for this silence. Not as a chore, but as a rendezvous with your beloved. Treat it as the most important appointment of your day. Turn off the phone, close the door, tell your family you need 10 minutes, and in those 10 minutes, practice the art of dying to the outer world so that you can be born to the inner world. Die to the problem so you can wake up to the solution. The silence is the bridge. It is the narrow gate. Wide is the gate of destruction that is the noise of the world. Narrow is the gate of life that is the silence within. Enter through the narrow gate. Remember, the vibration you generated in the previous chapter, the fire of your desire, needs the container of silence to hold it. If you have fire without a container, it burns the house down. If you have the fire of desire contained in the silence of faith, it becomes a laser beam. It cuts through obstacles. It melts resistance. It illuminates the path. The combination of intense feeling and profound stillness is the secret of the ages. It is the peace that passes understanding. Why does it pass understanding? Because the understanding, the logical mind, cannot see how the problem will be solved. It sees the debt. It sees the illness. It does not understand how it can be fixed. But the peace of the silence knows. It knows the way. It has ways and means that the logical mind knows not of. So trust the silence. Trust the still small voice. It is your connection to the infinite intelligence that governs the stars. It is waiting for you to stop running, stop shouting, and stop fighting. It is waiting for you to be still and know. Not hope, know. Be still and know that I am. Your own wonderful imagination is God. When you come out of that silence, you will walk differently, you will talk differently, you will not be the same person who went in. You will be a person who has touched the hem of the garment of the divine. You will be a person who has heard the word, and that word will not return to you void. It will accomplish that which you please and prosper in the thing for which you sent it. The silence is the sender. The vibration is the messenger. And the manifestation is the message delivered. Now, let this understanding sink deep into your soul. Let it calm your fears. You do not need to fight your battles alone. You have a silent partner. A partner who has never lost a battle. A partner who knows the end from the beginning. Go to him. Meet him in the silence, and he will give you the kingdom. We have now traveled through the inner landscape of vibration, and we have stood in the holy sanctuary of the still small voice. Now we must open our eyes and look at the world around us. We must confront the hard, physical facts of your life. Your bank account, your relationships, your body, your home. What are they? The unawakened man looks at these things and calls them facts or fate or luck. But you, who are awakening to your power, you must see them for what they truly are. They are a mirror. This chapter is titled Reality is a Mirror because this is the single most liberating and terrifying truth you will ever encounter. It is liberating because it means you are the only cause of your experience. It is terrifying because it means you have no one left to blame. There is no devil. There is no bad luck. There is no unfair system. There is only you and the mirror. To understand this fully, you must visualize a simple bathroom mirror. When you stand before a mirror and you look into it, you see a face. If that face is frowning, you do not try to reach into the glass and physically force the corners of the mouth up into a smile. You know that would be futile. You know that the image in the glass has no life of its own. It has no volition. It has no choice but to reflect exactly what is standing in front of it. To make the reflection smile, you must smile. You must change the expression on your own face first, and then, inevitably, automatically, and without effort, the reflection must smile back. This is the perfect analogy for your life. The world you live in, the people you meet, the events that happen to you are the reflection. Your consciousness, your I am, your vibration is the face standing in front of the mirror. The vast majority of humanity is trapped in a cycle of frustration because they are trying to change the reflection while keeping their own face unchanged. They are fighting the mirror. They struggle with poverty. They fight with their spouses. They battle against sickness. They use force and willpower to try and manipulate the events of the outer world. They are like a man standing before a mirror screaming at his reflection to stop looking so angry. It is madness. It is the definition of insanity. And yet this is how most people live their entire lives. They think that if they work harder, if they argue louder, if they manipulate more, the mirror will change. But the mirror is ruthless. It is objective. It does not care if you are a good person or a bad person. It only cares about what you are vibrating. If you are vibrating struggle, the mirror will reflect struggle, even if you are working 18 hours a day. The mirror cannot lie. This brings us to a crucial distinction. The mirror does not reflect what you want. It reflects who you are. This is where the great misunderstanding resurfaces to trap the unwary. You can want wealth with all your conscious mind. You can desire it. You can beg for it. But if your subconscious identity, your deep-seated concept of self, is I am poor, then the mirror will reflect poverty. The mirror looks past your mask. It looks past your words. It looks into the core of your being and reflects your true vibration. This is why we spent so much time in the previous chapters discussing feeling and silence. Because to change the reflection, you must change the self. You must change the I am. Let us look at the story of the businessman I mentioned earlier. This man came to me in a state of near bankruptcy. He was a good man. He was hardworking. He had a product that people needed, but his business was failing. He blamed the economy. He blamed the government regulations. He blamed his competitors who were undercutting his prices. He saw enemies everywhere. He was fighting the mirror. I told him that as long as he saw the cause of his failure on the outside, he was doomed to fail. I told him he had to accept the radical truth that his failing business was a perfect reflection of his failing state of mind. He was insulted at first. He said, "I am positive. I want to succeed." But I asked him, "What is the feeling you carry in the pit of your stomach when you walk into your office?" He paused and admitted fear. "I feel like an imposter. I feel like it's all going to collapse." That was the face he was showing, the mirror. And the mirror, being faithful, was collapsing his business to match his fear. We had to change the face. We constructed a scene. I told him to sit in his office chair, close his eyes, and withdraw his attention from the ledgers that showed debt. I told him to construct a new face. He had to imagine that he was the CEO of a thriving, expanding international company. He had to feel the solidity of that success. He had to hear his employees congratulating him on the record-breaking quarter. He had to feel the relief and the pride of a job well done. He did this every morning. He stopped fighting the competitors in his mind and started blessing them, knowing there was abundance for all. He stopped cursing the economy and started assuming that he was exempt from economic downturns. At first, the mirror did not change. The debt was still there. This is the test. This is the time lag. When you smile at a physical mirror, the reflection is instant. But in the world of 3D reality, the mirror is slow. It is like a heavy ship turning at sea. There is momentum from the past. You must hold the smile. You must hold the new vibration, even when the old reflection is still visible. This businessman persisted. He ignored the bad news and kept his internal gaze on the new reality. Within a month, the shift happened. A competitor went out of business and offered to sell him their client lists for a fraction of the value. A new market opened up overseas. The mirror began to turn. Within 6 months, his business had not just recovered, it had doubled. He did not work harder. He did not change his product. He changed his self-concept. He changed the face he showed the universe. This principle applies even more powerfully to relationships. This is where the teaching becomes difficult for many to accept, but you must accept it if you want mastery. There is a concept I teach called "everyone is you pushed out." This means that every person in your life is playing a role that you have assigned to them. They are actors in your play. You are the writer and the director. If you are insecure, you will attract people who validate your insecurity by rejecting you. If you are defensive, you will attract people who attack you. They have no choice. Your vibration compels them to treat you the way you treat yourself in your own mind. Think of a person in your life who annoys you or disrespects you. You think they are the problem. You think, if only they would change, I would be happy. But they are just the reflection. They are reflecting your own lack of self-respect. They are reflecting your own hidden belief that you are not worthy of honor. If you want them to change, you do not nag them. You do not argue with them. You go into the silence and you change your opinion of yourself. You assume I am respected, I am loved, I am powerful. You whisper this to yourself until you feel it. When you truly change your internal relationship with yourself, one of two things will happen. Either that person will change their behavior completely and start treating you with respect, or they will leave your life and be replaced by someone who matches your new vibration. The mirror must reflect the new image. I have seen marriages saved this way. A wife came to me claiming her husband was distant and cold. She wanted to change him. I told her, "You cannot change him. You can only change your concept of him." She was holding a mental conversation with him all day long, accusing him of being cold, arguing with him in her mind. The mirror was reflecting those internal arguments. I told her to stop the internal war. I told her to speak to him in her imagination with love, to hear him say, "I love you" in her mind, to feel his ring on her finger and feel the warmth of a loving marriage. She had to smile at the mirror when the reflection was still frowning. It took great discipline, but one evening, after weeks of this inner work, he came home and brought her flowers. He became affectionate. He became the man she was imagining. He didn't know why. He just felt an urge, a compulsion to match her new state. She changed the script, and he read the new lines. You must understand that you are always broadcasting a script. Your inner conversations, the things you say to yourself when no one is listening, are the directions you are giving to the world. If you walk around saying, people are rude, no one appreciates me, I always get the short end of the stick, you are handing out scripts to everyone you meet. You are telling the waiter to be rude. You are telling your boss to overlook you. You are telling the world to hurt you. And because the world is a mirror, it obeys. You must tear up those old scripts. You must start writing new ones. You must walk down the street assuming that everyone you meet is a messenger of God sent to bless you. Even if they don't know it yet, you must assume that you are magnetic, that you are charming, that you are successful. The mirror is not just people. It is circumstances. It is objects. Have you ever noticed that when you are in a bad mood, machines break, the car won't start, the computer crashes, the toast burns? You think this is bad luck adding to your bad mood. No, it is the mirror. Your vibration of frustration is so strong that it is affecting the mechanical world. Electrons are sensitive to your mood. This is not superstition. This is physics. You are an energetic field. When that field is chaotic, you create chaos in the physical world. When that field is coherent, when you are in the state of I am, machines work, traffic lights turn green. Lines at the grocery store move faster, the world smooths out before you. This is what the Bible means when it says, make straight the way of the Lord. You smooth the path with your vibration. But what do you do when the mirror shows you something terrible? What if you receive a diagnosis? What if you receive a foreclosure notice? This is where the master is separated from the novice. The novice reacts. The novice screams at the mirror, breaks the glass, and falls into despair. The master looks at the terrible reflection and says, this is an old shadow. This is the harvest of my past thinking. It is dead. It has no power over me unless I give it power. The master denies the evidence of the senses. This does not mean you pretend the foreclosure notice isn't there. It means you deny its finality. You deny its authority to dictate your future. You look at the notice, but you vibrate wealth. You look at the sickness, but you vibrate health. This requires a mental strength that most do not possess, but you are building it. You are learning to walk by faith, not by sight. Walking by sight is walking by the mirror. Walking by faith is walking by the internal image. You must learn to trust the internal image more than the external reflection. If you persist, the external reflection must catch up. It is law. It cannot fail. The only way it fails is if you give up. If you look at the mirror, see that it hasn't changed yet, and say, this doesn't work, then you have returned to the old face. You have frowned again. And the mirror instantly frowns back. You must be stubborn. You must be like a rock. You hold the vision until the mirror cracks and reforms. There is a beautiful mystery in the word, until the mirror cracks and reforms. There is a beautiful mystery in the word, reflection. To reflect also means to think, to contemplate. When you reflect on something, you become it. The world reflects on you. It thinks about you what you think about yourself. If you think you are small, the world thinks you are small and gives you a small life. If you think you are great, the world thinks you are great and gives you a great life. You are the one determining the size of your life. Do not look to the world for permission. Do not look to the mirror to tell you who you are. The mirror is a follower. You are the leader. Lead. We must also speak of the collective mirror. We live in a world with billions of other people. We see wars, we see famines, we see injustice. You might ask, did I create that? In a sense, yes. We are all part of the one mind. When the collective vibration of humanity is one of fear and separation, the collective mirror reflects war. You cannot fix the world by fighting the war. That is fighting the mirror. You fix the world by finding peace within yourself. If one man finds true peace, the kind of peace that passes understanding, he becomes a tuning fork for the world. He calms the storm around him. If you want to help the world, do not add your anger to the collective anger. Do not add your fear to the collective fear. Sanctify yourself. Clean your own face. When you are clean, you help clean the mirror for everyone. Now, let us discuss a practical technique for cleaning the mirror. We call this revision. At the end of every day, the mirror has shown you things you didn't like. Maybe you had an argument. Maybe you lost money. Most people take those bad reflections to bed with them. They replay the argument. They worry about the money. They are imprinting the bad reflection deeper into their subconscious, ensuring that tomorrow will be the same. The master uses revision. You review your day, but you do not accept it as final. You look at the bad reflection and you rewrite it. You imagine that the argument didn't happen, or that it ended with a hug. You imagine that the letter brought good news, not bad news. You replay this revised version until it feels real. You are retroactively changing the face you showed the mirror. You are cleaning the timeline. By doing this, you prevent that bad seed from growing into tomorrow. You wake up free. You wake up with a clean slate. This is how you break the chain of karma. Karma is just the mirror reflecting your past. Revision breaks the mirror of the past and allows you to form a new future. You must become a vigilant guardian of your doorway. The mirror is always waiting for your input. Every morning, you have a choice. What face will I wear today? Not what clothes, but what consciousness. Will I wear the garment of praise? Will I wear the garment of success? Or will I put on the old dirty rags of poor me? The choice is yours, and the mirror waits patiently to show you the consequences of your choice. There is no judgment in the mirror. It does not punish you. It confirms you. If you jump off a building, gravity pulls you down. Gravity is not punishing you. It is just acting according to its nature. If you vibrate, I am a failure, the world produces failure. It is not punishing you. It is confirming you. It is saying, yes, if that is who you say you are, then here is the evidence. God is a God of confirmation. He confirms whatever you claim to be true. So claim the best. Claim the highest. Claim the noblest. Why settle for a mediocre reflection? Why settle for a life that is less than a masterpiece? You are the artist. The world is your canvas. The paint is your feeling. Paint something beautiful. As we move toward the next chapter, where we will hear the testimony of the man who mastered this to the point of winning the lottery 5 times, remember this. He did not look at the mirror of his empty bank account. He ignored it. He looked into his own heart and saw a winner. He held that face until the mirror of the world had to produce the winning numbers. He forced the mirror to bow to his imagination. You have that same power. The mirror is your servant, not your master. Stop serving the reflection. Make the reflection serve you. Let this truth settle in. Look around the room you are in right now. It is a reflection. Look at your hands. They are a reflection. If you like what you see, give thanks. If you do not like what you see, close your eyes. Go back to the silence. Go back to the vibration. Change the face. And know, with the certainty of a mathematician, that the mirror must change. It has no choice. This is the law. This is the promise. Reality is a mirror, and you are the light. Shine bright, and the world will shine back. Before we proceed to the incredible testimony of the man who won the lottery 5 times, a story that will challenge everything you think you know about luck, I want to invite you to make a commitment. If you are ready to stop fighting the mirror and start changing the face you show the world, take a moment to subscribe to this channel. By subscribing, you are not just clicking a button, you are joining a community of awakened souls dedicated to mastering the law of assumption. Don't miss the daily keys that will unlock your prison. Click subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and let us continue this journey into the impossible together. We have arrived at the part of our journey that confronts the skeptical mind with the impossible. We have spoken of the theory of vibration. We have spoken of the mirror of reality. But the human mind, conditioned by logic and statistics, craves evidence. It asks, does this really work in the hard, cold world of chance and probability? To answer this, I must share with you the testimony of a man who defied every mathematical law known to statisticians. This is the story of the man who won the lottery not once, not twice, but 5 times. I share this not to encourage you to gamble, but to prove to you that there is no such thing as luck. There is only the law of assumption in action. When you understand this story, you will realize that the word coincidence is merely a term used by those who do not see the invisible cause. Let us look at the facts. The odds of winning a major lottery are often 1 in several million. The odds of winning it 5 times are astronomical. It is, for all practical purposes, a mathematical impossibility. And yet, this man stood before me and said, I did not win because of luck or chance. I won because I understood the truth that all of life is shaped by the power of my imagination. He was not a mathematician. He was not a magician. He was a simple man who decided to test the law of assumption to its absolute limit. He decided to treat the lottery not as a game of chance, but as a transaction of consciousness. Most people approach the lottery, or life itself, with a vibration of hope. They buy a ticket and they say, I hope I win. They cross their fingers. They pray to a distant God. But beneath that hope is a massive, crushing vibration of doubt. They know the odds are against them. They feel the scarcity of their current life. They are vibrating, I do not have it, but I wish I did. As we learned in the chapter on vibration, the universe ignores the wish and confirms the do not have. This man did the opposite. He did not buy a ticket to win. He bought a ticket because he had already won in his imagination. There is a canyon of difference between these two states. One is a gamble, the other is a divine appointment. He shared his method with me, and it is a masterclass in the art of thinking from the end. He said, I repeatedly affirmed to myself day after day that I am a magnet for abundance. But I didn't just say the words. I went into the silence and I constructed a scene. He sat quietly in his chair, closed his eyes, and induced that state akin to sleep where the physical world fades away. In this state, he did not see numbers. This is a mistake many of you make. You try to visualize the specific numbers on the balls. That is trying to dictate the how. It is too mental. Instead, he went to the end. He visualized the feeling of holding the winning ticket. He felt the specific texture of the paper. He felt the trembling of his hands, not from fear, but from the adrenaline of victory. He visualized the teller at the store scanning the ticket. He heard the specific sound of the machine validating the win. He heard the teller say, "Oh my God, you won." He felt the embrace of his wife. He felt the reality of it so intensely that when he opened his eyes, he was shocked to find himself still in his chair. He said, "I saw myself winning. I felt it. I imagined it. And I knew it was inevitable." This word inevitable is the key. When you truly assume a state, it ceases to be a possibility and becomes an inevitability. It is like waiting for the sun to rise. You do not hope the sun will rise. You do not worry about it. You know it is inevitable. He treated his wealth with the same certainty as the sunrise. He walked around his house in the mood of a winner. He paid his bills in his mind before the money arrived. He mentally shopped for cars. He mentally paid off his mortgage. He occupied the state of the wealthy man so completely that the physical 3D world became the dream, and his imaginal world became the reality. And then the bridge of incidents appeared. He would feel a nudge to go to a specific store. He would feel an impulse to buy a specific ticket. He did not question it. He did not struggle. He followed the lead of his subconscious, and he won. And then he did it again, and again. By the 5th time, the world called him a statistical anomaly. But he knew he was simply a faithful operant of the law. He said, "I realized that the external world was simply a reflection of my inner world. If I could impress upon my subconscious mind the idea that I was already a winner, then the world would have no choice but to reflect this truth back to me." This testimony proves that the law of assumption overrides the law of averages. It overrides the laws of economics. It proves that you are living in a world of your own making. But let us go deeper into the psychology of this. Why do most people fail to manifest even a small amount of money, let alone a jackpot? It is because they are addicted to the feeling of wanting. Wanting is a drug. It is a comfortable state of dissatisfaction. To manifest, you must give up the addiction to wanting and accept the challenge of having. The man who won the lottery had to accept the reality of wealth before it appeared. He had to become a person who could handle that energy. He told me, the key was not in the action itself, but in the belief in the feeling. When I believed it to be true, when I felt the victory in my soul, the external world had no choice but to obey. Notice he said the world had no choice. This is a radical statement of authority. Most of you walk through life feeling that you have no choice, that the world dictates to you. You wait for the boss to give you a raise. You wait for the bank to approve the loan. You are playing the role of the victim. This man played the role of the king. He issued a decree in his imagination, and his kingdom, his reality, obeyed. You must reclaim this authority. You are not a beggar at the banquet of life. You are the host. He also spoke of the bridge of incidents. He didn't need to know how the numbers would align. He didn't rig the machine. He didn't bribe the officials. He simply held the end, and the infinite intelligence of the universe arranged the millions of variables required to make it happen. This relieves you of the burden of how. Many of you are blocked because you cannot see how your desire can be fulfilled. You look at your debt and you do not see a way out. You look at the job market and you do not see an opening. Because you cannot see the how, you deny the end. This is folly. Your limited conscious mind is not designed to figure out the how. It is designed to choose the end. The how is the domain of the deeper self, the God within. This man trusted the God within to handle the mechanics of the lottery. You must trust the God within to handle the mechanics of your life. There is another crucial element to his success, naturalness. When he finally won, he was not surprised. He was grateful, yes, but he was not shocked. Why? Because he had already won 100 times in his mind. He had already spent the money in his imagination. It felt natural to him. This is a secret that eludes many. You visualize something wonderful, but deep down it feels too big or too good to be true. It feels unnatural. As long as it feels unnatural, you will not manifest it. Or if you do, you will lose it quickly because your subconscious rejects it as a foreign body. This explains why many lottery winners lose all their money within a few years. Their self-concept was never upgraded to match their bank account. They remained poor people with money, and so they inevitably returned to poverty. This man, however, kept his winnings. He multiplied them because he had become a wealthy man in consciousness long before the check arrived. You must wear your desire until it feels natural. You must wear the feeling of health until sickness feels strange. You must wear the feeling of success until failure feels like a foreign language. He said, I never wavered. I never doubted. For I knew the power of my mind and I trusted it completely. This unwavering state is what Scripture calls faith. But again, not blind faith. It is the faith of understanding. He understood the mechanism. If you understand that hydrogen and oxygen make water, you do not doubt that water will form when you combine them. You know it is a law. He knew that imagination plus feeling equals reality. It was a formula. When doubts came, and surely they must have knocked on his door, he did not entertain them. He treated doubt as a nuisance, a fly at the picnic. He swatted it away and returned to the feast of his imagination. You must learn to do the same. When the voice of the world says, you are crazy, you are broke, it's not working, you must retreat into the silence and say, I have already won. It is done. Let us apply this lottery testimony to your life. You may not care about winning a lottery, but you have a lottery you want to win. Perhaps it is the lottery of love, finding a soulmate in a world of billions. Perhaps it is the lottery of health, recovering from a condition the doctors say is chronic. Perhaps it is the lottery of career landing, that dream role that everyone says is impossible. The principles are identical. The universe does not know the difference between a lottery ticket and a marriage license. It only knows vibration. It only knows what you are assuming. If you want the relationship, you must stop looking for it. You must begin to assume you are already in it. You must sleep in the double bed of your imagination. You must feel the presence of the other. You must feel the ring on your finger. You must feel the naturalness of being loved. If you do this with the intensity that this man applied to his lottery ticket, the person must appear. It is inevitable. The world will rearrange itself to bring you together. You might bump into them at a coffee shop. You might be introduced by a friend. That is the bridge of incidents. But you must not look for the bridge. You must look at the end. The man said, "The power was never outside of me. It was within me, waiting to be tapped into." This is the great liberation. You stop waiting for the external savior. You stop waiting for the lucky break. You realize that you are the break. You are the generator of luck. This empowers you to walk through life with your head high. You are not a victim of circumstance. You are the architect of circumstance. When you understand this, you stop gambling with life and you start designing it. This testimony also highlights the importance of consistency. He didn't just imagine it once. He affirmed it day after day. He lived in the feeling. Manifestation is a lifestyle, not a hobby. You cannot be a master on Sunday and a victim on Monday. You must maintain the tone. It is like a diet. You cannot eat healthy for one meal and expect to be fit. You must make it your sustained way of living. This man made winning his sustained habit of mind. He woke up a winner. He ate breakfast as a winner. He went to sleep as a winner. Eventually, the 3D world had to surrender. The 3D world is stubborn, but it is not stronger than sustained imagination. Water is soft, but if it drops consistently on a rock, it will carve a canyon through the rock. Your imagination is the water. The hard facts of your life are the rock. If you persist, the rock must yield. Let's discuss the specific technique he used to impress the subconscious. He mentioned closing his eyes and feeling the thrill. Why is the thrill important? Because emotion is the glue. A thought without emotion is like a seed without water. It is dry. It will not sprout. You must water your assumption with feeling. But be careful. It must be the feeling of fulfillment, not the feeling of desperation. Desperation is high energy, but it is negative energy. It screams, "I don't have it." Fulfillment is a calm, high energy. It sings, "Thank you, I have it." The man felt the thrill of victory, which is a mix of joy, relief, and gratitude. That is the cocktail that intoxicates the subconscious mind and forces it to act. He also mentioned that he imagined what I would do with the money. This is crucial. He didn't just think of the money itself, he thought of the consequences of the money. He saw himself helping his family. He saw himself traveling. He lived in the effects. This grounds the imagination. If you want a new job, don't just imagine the job title. Imagine taking your friends out to dinner to celebrate the new job. Imagine the conversation. Imagine the taste of the food. By imagining the consequences, you imply that the event has already happened. This bypasses the logical mind's resistance. The man implied his win by planning his life after the win. Critics will say, "But what if I delude myself? What if I spend money I don't have?" The law of assumption is not about financial irresponsibility in the 3D world. It is about financial responsibility in the 4D world, the world of imagination. You do not need to go into debt to feel wealthy. In fact, spending money you don't have out of anxiety is an act of lack. It is trying to force the feeling. The true work is done in the silence. You can sit in an empty room and feel richer than a king. When that internal feeling is solid, the external means will come. You won't have to force it. This man didn't spend his savings on thousands of tickets out of desperation. He bought a ticket with the calm, knowing that it was the one. He moved with precision because he was guided by his assumption. There is a concept in this testimony of brazen impudence. This man was brazen. He dared to claim a prize that millions of others were competing for. He didn't say, "Oh, I shouldn't ask for too much. He didn't say, let someone else win. He claimed it. You must be brazen with your desires. The universe is not a limited pie where if you take a slice, someone else goes hungry. The universe is infinite. Your creation does not rob another. In fact, your success lifts others up. This man used his winnings to help others. His abundance overflowed. Do not play small to make the world feel comfortable. Play big. Assume the best. Dare to claim the jackpot of life. The skeptic asks, what about the other millions of people who played and lost? Didn't they want to win too? Yes, they wanted to win, but they did not assume they had won. They were playing the odds. They were hoping, they were vibrating. I hope this saves me. That is a vibration of victimhood. The winner was vibrating. I am the master of my reality. The difference is not in the desire, the difference is in the state of consciousness. Two men can perform the exact same action buying a ticket, but one does it from a state of lack and the other from a state of abundance. The action is the same, but the result is different because the consciousness is different. This story challenges you to examine your own assumptions. What are you assuming about your life right now? Are you assuming that life is hard? Are you assuming that you have to struggle to make ends meet? Are you assuming that you are getting old and weak? Whatever you are assuming, you are right. You are right because your assumption is creating your proof. If you want to change the proof, change the assumption. Be as bold as the lottery winner. Assume that life is easy. Assume that money comes to you easily and frequently. Assume that your body is self-repairing and vital. Assume that you are loved. It will feel like a lie at first. That is normal. The truth always feels like a lie to the person who is living in the illusion. But if you persist in the lie of your assumption, it will harden into the fact of your life. Remember his words. The external world had no choice but to reflect this truth back to me. This is the ultimate declaration of sovereignty. You are the king. The world is your subject. But a king must be decisive. A king cannot waver. A king cannot ask his subjects, am I really the king? He knows he is. You must know you are the creator. This testimony is not just a story about money. It is a story about identity. It is about a man who remembered who he was. He remembered that he was not a statistic. He was God in action. And because he remembered, the laws of chance dissolved before him. As you listen to this, you might feel a resistance. You might feel, this is too good to be true. That resistance is your old self fighting for survival. It is the old man who wants to keep you small and safe in the familiar prison of limitation. Do not fight the resistance. Just notice it. Say to it, I hear you, but we are doing something different now. And return to your assumption. Return to the feeling. Test it. You do not have to believe me. You do not have to believe the lottery winner. Test it for yourself. Try it with something small if you must. But try it. Assume that you will receive a free cup of coffee. Assume that you will hear from an old friend. Feel the reality of it. When it happens, and it will, your faith will grow. Then you can tackle the bigger things. You can go for the jackpot. The law of assumption is the only game in town. Everyone is playing it, whether they know it or not. The poor man is assuming poverty. The sick man is assuming sickness. The lonely man is assuming isolation. They are all masters of the law, but they are using it destructively. You are now invited to use it constructively. You are invited to take the wheel of your destiny. The lottery winner showed us the way. He showed us that the impossible is just a word used by people with limited imaginations. Nothing is impossible to the one who believes. So, tonight, as you prepare to enter the silence, think of this man. Think of his certainty. Think of his 5 victories. And ask yourself, what is my jackpot? What is the thing that would transform my life? Identify it. And then, do not ask for it. Do not hope for it. Enter the state of having it. Feel the texture of it. Smell the fragrance of it. Give thanks for it. And walk out of your silence as the person who owns it. The mirror of reality is polishing itself, getting ready to reflect your new face. The numbers are aligning. The bridge is forming. Your assumption is the command that sets the universe in motion. Be bold, Be faithful and watch the miracle unfold. We have now arrived at the most critical junction in our study of the law of assumption. We must redefine a word that has been misused, diluted, and misunderstood for thousands of years. That word is faith. When the average person uses the word faith, they are usually describing a form of wishful thinking. They use it as a synonym for hope. They say, "I have faith that things will get better," while their voice trembles with the fear that things will get worse. They look at the sky and beg for a miracle. This is not faith. This is desperation disguised as piety. If we are to master the art of creating reality, we must perform a radical surgery on this concept. We must separate faith from hope completely. They are not sisters, they are opposites. Hope is a beggar, faith is a king. Hope looks at the future and says, it might happen. Faith looks at the invisible and says it is done. The distinction is not merely semantic, it is vibrational. And since the universe responds only to vibration, the difference between hope and faith is the difference between failure and success. Let us look at the definition of faith given in the great scriptures. It is defined as the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. I want you to look closely at the word substance. Substance is not a wispy, airy-fairy concept. Substance means stuff. It means matter. It means reality. Faith is the actual substance of the thing you desire, existing in a different frequency. Think of water. Water can exist as solid ice. It can exist as liquid. And it can exist as invisible vapor or steam. When water is steam, you cannot see it, but it is still there. It still has substance. It still has the potential to scald you or to power a steam engine. It is real. Faith is the steam. The physical manifestation is the ice. Most people wait for the ice before they believe in the water. They want to see the solid money, the solid health, the solid relationship. But the master knows that the steam must come first. You must possess the substance in the realm of vibration before it can condense into the realm of matter. When you are in a state of true faith, you are not waiting for the result. You are holding the result. You are holding the steam of your desire. You can feel it. It has weight in your consciousness. This is why the lottery winner from the previous chapter could win. He wasn't hoping to win. He held the substance of winning in his mind until it condensed into the physical check. Hope, on the other hand, admits that you do not have the substance. Hope says, I am empty. Please fill me. The universe looks at your vibration of emptiness and, acting as a faithful mirror, gives you more emptiness. Hope creates a gap between you and your desire. It places your desire in the future. And as we have discussed, the future never comes. We only ever live in the now. Faith pulls the desire out of the future and anchors it in the now. Faith is the act of appropriating the state immediately. To illustrate this, let us revisit one of the most powerful stories of vibrational mastery ever told, the story of Daniel in the lion's den. Most of you were taught this as a Sunday school story about a man who was saved by an external God who shut the mouths of the lions. But I want you to read it now with the eyes of the mystic. Read it as a psychological drama taking place within your own consciousness. Daniel represents the disciplined imagination. The lions represent the brutal facts of the 3D world. The lions are your debt. The lions are your medical diagnosis. The lions are the lawsuit against you. They are roaring. They are hungry. They threaten to consume you. They are the evidence of the senses screaming, you are doomed. What did Daniel do? Did he fight the lions? No. If you fight the facts, you give them energy. If you argue with your debt, if you worry about your sickness, you are feeding the lions. Did Daniel curl up in a ball and cry, I hope God saves me? No. That is the vibration of victimhood. Daniel did something radical. He turned his back on the lions. He turned his attention away from the sensory threat and looked toward the light. He went into the silence. He vibrated the feeling of safety. He vibrated the feeling of peace. He assumed the state of being protected. In the midst of extreme danger, he maintained the vibration of absolute security. This is the test of faith. Can you stand in the middle of the lion's den of your life, with the creditors calling, with the pain in your body, with the loneliness in your heart? and turn your back on them? Can you withdraw your attention from the roaring facts and place it entirely on the invisible reality of your wish fulfilled? When Daniel did this, his vibration of peace was so intense, so absolute, that it neutralized the aggression of the lions. This is a law of physics. A higher frequency dominates a lower frequency. The frequency of spiritual peace is higher than the frequency of physical violence. The lions could not bite him because he was not in their vibrational world. He was in the den physically, but vibrationally he was in the safety of God. You are in a lion's den right now. Maybe it is a job you hate. Maybe it is a relationship that is falling apart. These are your lions. You have been trying to fight them with sticks and stones. You have been trying to fix them with worry and argument. Stop it. You are only making the lions angrier. You must do what Daniel did. You must engage the vibration of faith. You must say to yourself, I deny the ultimate reality of these lions. They are shadows. They are the echo of my past fears. I turn my back on them. I look now to the solution. And then you begin to vibrate the solution. You feel the relief of the debt paid. You feel the joy of the body healed. You maintain this high vibration even while the lions are still pacing around you. This is the evidence of things not seen. The lions are seen. The safety is unseen. But if you hold to the unseen, the seen must transform. The lions' mouths will be shut. The circumstances will lose their power to hurt you. The debt will be dissolved. The sickness will fade. This is not magic. It is the supremacy of faith over fact. We must understand that faith is a muscle. It is not a gift given to a select few. It is a capacity inherent in every human being, but it must be trained. Most people have flabby faith muscles because they have spent their lives leaning on the crutch of sensory evidence. They only believe what they can see, touch, and measure. To build the muscle of faith, you must practice lifting the heavy weight of the invisible. You must practice trusting your inner feeling more than the morning news. You must practice trusting your imagination more than your bank balance. Every time you withdraw your attention from a negative fact and place it on a positive assumption, you are doing a rep. You are strengthening your faith. There is a profound difference between believing in and believing that. Most people believe in God or believe in the law of attraction. That is intellectual agreement. It is weak. The devils believe and tremble. Faith is believing that you have received. Note the past tense. Therefore, I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. He did not say believe that you will receive it. He said believe that you have received it. This is the crucial time shift. Hope is will. Faith is have. When you are in the state of faith, you walk differently. You carry yourself with a quiet confidence. You do not check the mail frantically every day to see if the check has arrived. You know it has arrived in the only place that matters, your consciousness. And because it has arrived there, it must arrive here. Let us discuss the time lag again, for this is where most people abandon faith and return to hope. You assume the state of wealth. You feel it. You vibrate it. But 3 days later, the bank account still shows zero. The sensors say it didn't work. The lion roars. This is the moment of crisis. If you react to the zero balance, you drop the vibration of faith and pick up the vibration of lack. You start hoping again. You say, I hope it comes soon. You have lost. The time lag is an illusion. It is simply the time it takes for the steam to freeze into ice. If you put a tray of water in the freezer, you do not open the door every 5 minutes to see if it is ice yet. If you do, you let the warm air in and delay the freezing. You trust the process. You know that if the water is in the freezer, ice is inevitable. Faith is the knowledge that you have placed your desire in the freezer of the universal subconscious. You do not need to check on it. You do not need to worry. You can go about your business knowing that the ice is forming. There is a beautiful phrase, walk by faith, not by sight. To walk by sight is to be a slave to the current conditions. It is to be a reactive machine. If the sun shines, you are happy. If it rains, you are sad. If you have money, you are secure. If you are broke, you are insecure. You are a puppet, and the world is pulling your strings. To walk by faith is to cut the strings. It is to determine your own inner weather. You decide to be happy regardless of the rain. You decide to be secure regardless of the bank balance. You are generating your own light from within. When you do this, you become a master. The world stops acting upon you, and you start acting upon the world. The world feels your stability. It feels your lack of reaction, and it begins to reshape itself around your stability. Faith is also the antidote to fear. Fear and faith are the exact same force, the power of expectation moving in opposite directions. Fear is faith in evil. Fear is the expectation that something bad will happen. It is the vivid rehearsal of a disaster that hasn't occurred yet. When you worry, you are using the law of assumption destructively. You are assuming the worst. You are meditating on the lions. You are vibrating disaster. And the universe says, your wish is my command, and brings you the disaster. Faith is simply taking that same power of expectation and turning it toward the good. It is the vivid rehearsal of a triumph that hasn't occurred yet. It is vibrating victory. Why is it so easy for you to have faith in disaster, worry, but so hard to have faith in success? It is only a habit. You have been trained to protect yourself by anticipating the worst. But this protection is a trap. It brings the very thing you fear. As Job said, the thing I greatly feared has come upon me. You must break the habit of fear faith and cultivate the habit of love faith. Consider the placebo effect. Medical science is baffled by it, but the student of vibration understands it perfectly. You give a sick man a sugar pill. You tell him it is a powerful medicine. He believes you. He has faith in the pill. He swallows it. His body releases healing chemicals. He gets better. Was it the sugar? No, it was his faith. His vibration of expectation instructed his cells to heal. This proves that the power is not in the external object, the pill, the job, the money. The power is in your faith. The pill was just a permission slip that allowed him to release his own power. You do not need the sugar pill. You can give yourself permission. You can have faith in your own I am. You can swallow the pill of your own assumption and heal your life. Faith is loyalty to the unseen reality. Imagine you have a friend who is accused of a crime. All the evidence points to his guilt. The news, the police, the public, everyone says he is guilty. But you know his heart. You know he is innocent. You remain loyal to him despite the evidence. You stand by him. That is faith. Now, apply this to yourself. Your life is accused of being a failure. The evidence points to it. Your past points to it. But you know the truth of your I am. You know you are a child of the Creator. You know you are destined for greatness. Will you be loyal to that unseen truth? Or will you join the mob and condemn yourself? Faith is standing by your ideal self when the whole world denies it. It is saying, I know who I am, even when the mirror shows a pauper. If you maintain that loyalty, your ideal self will be acquitted. The verdict will be overturned. The truth will come out. We must also address the concept of surrender. Many people think faith means passivity. I'll just let go and let God. There is a truth to this, but it is often misunderstood as laziness. True surrender is the surrender of the struggle, not the surrender of the desire. You do not give up the desire. You give up the fight to force it into being. You surrender the anxiety. You surrender the how. You remain actively engaged in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is an active rest. It is like a dancer who is so skilled that she flows with the music without thinking about the steps. She has surrendered to the rhythm, but she is still dancing. You must dance with your desire. You must flow with the vibration of it. You do not sit on the couch and wait. You move through your day, taking the actions that feel natural, guided by the rhythm of your faith. Let me tell you about a woman who applied this definition of faith to find a partner. She was 40 years old and single. All the statistics said her chances of finding a husband were low. The lions of loneliness were roaring. Her friends told her to lower her standards. That is the advice of the world, be realistic. But she refused. She decided to walk by faith. She bought a wedding ring. She wore it when she was alone in her apartment. She slept on one side of the bed, leaving space for him. She cleared a drawer in her dresser for his clothes. She wasn't hoping for a husband. She was preparing for him. She was making space for the substance to appear. She lived in the vibration of being a wife. She felt the ring. She felt the presence. She ignored the dating apps. She ignored the bad dates. She stayed loyal to the unseen reality. Within 6 months, she met a man who fit her ideal perfectly. They were married within the year. When asked how she did it, she said, "I didn't find him. I became the woman who already had him." Her faith was the substance. The man was just the reflection. This is the challenge I place before you. Stop hoping. Hope is a leaky vessel. It cannot hold the water of life. Build the vessel of faith. Construct it out of your convictions. Reinforce it with your imagination. When you catch yourself saying, "I hope," stop. Correct yourself. Say, "I know." Even if you don't know yet, say it until you do. I know I am taken care of. I know I am loved. I know I am healthy. Speak the language of faith until it becomes your native tongue. Remember, the universe is not punishing you by delaying your manifestation. It is waiting for you to stabilize the signal. If you are tuning a radio and your hand is shaking, the signal comes in and out. Static, music, static, music. The universe wants to give you the clear music, but you must hold the dial steady. Faith is the steady hand. It holds the frequency of the wish fulfilled without wavering. When the signal is stable, the music of your new life plays clearly for all to hear. Do not be discouraged by the size of your desire. It takes no more energy for the universe to create a castle than a button. It is all the same energy. The only difference is your capacity to believe. Faith enlarges your capacity. It stretches your imagination to receive more. If you have faith for a button, you will get a button. If you have faith for a castle, you will get a castle. The substance is infinite. The supply is unlimited. The only limit is the cup you bring to the ocean. Faith is the size of your cup. Throw away the thimble of hope. Bring the bucket of faith. Bring the tanker of faith. The ocean will fill whatever you bring. As we conclude this chapter, I want you to feel the weight of this truth. You are not empty. You are full. You are full of the substance of things hoped for. Your imagination is the warehouse of reality. Everything you want is already there, stored in the vibration of faith. You do not need to go out and get it. You need to go in and possess it. You need to claim the title deed. Walk out of this chapter not as a hoper, but as a possessor. Walk with the swagger of the divine. The lions may roar, but they cannot touch you. You are shielded by the armor of vibration. You are guided by the light of the unseen. You are a master of the law. And for you, all things are possible. Only believe. Not believe in, but believe that. Believe that you are, and so you shall be. We have traveled a long road together in this lecture. We have explored the mechanics of vibration, the discipline of the still small voice, the ruthlessness of the mirror of reality, and the power of faith. But all of these techniques will remain mere intellectual toys unless we answer the most fundamental question of human existence. It is a question that most people avoid because the answer demands a total restructuring of their worldview. The question is this: who is the God you pray to? When you close your eyes and ask for help, to whom are you speaking? Most of the world, including the vast majority of religious people, are directing their prayers to a being outside of themselves. They look up to the sky. They look to a historical figure who lived 2,000 years ago. They look to a cosmic emperor sitting on a throne in a distant dimension. They beg this external being to change their circumstances. They promise to be good if only he will grant their wish. And when the silence remains unbroken, they conclude that it was not his will, or that they are being punished, or that God is deaf. I am here to tell you that this approach is not just ineffective. It is spiritual amnesia. It is the cause of all man's suffering. The reason your prayers have gone unanswered is not because you are unworthy, but because you are calling upon a God who does not exist in the way you have been taught. You are shouting at the sky while the power is waiting in your own heart. We must be bold enough to look at the great truth of Scripture, which has been buried under centuries of dogma. The ancient question asked in the Bible is this: how can men call upon him in whom they have not believed? And how can they believe in him of whom they have never heard? And how can they hear unless there is a preacher? I am that preacher today. And the message I bring you is the same message that the mystics have whispered for eons. The only God in the universe is your own wonderful human imagination. When you say, I am, you are announcing the presence of God. You are not speaking a grammatical pronoun, you are speaking the holy name. I am is the unconditioned awareness of being. Before you are a man or a woman, you are I am. Before you are rich or poor, you are I am. Before you are American or French, you are I am. This awareness is the foundation of the universe. It is the God substance from which all things are made. When you pray to a God outside of you, you are giving your power away to an idol. You are denying your own divinity. And God, being your own true self, cannot respect a man who denies his own existence. Let us look at the evidence of how humanity loves to worship shadows instead of the light. Recently, I read a report in the morning paper that perfectly illustrates this folly. For centuries, millions of people have venerated a specific object known as the chair of St. Peter. It was encased in gold and marble. Pilgrims traveled thousands of miles to be near it, believing it to be the holy throne upon which the Apostle Peter sat 2,000 years ago. They believed this wood held power. They believed it was a direct link to the divine. But now, scientists have taken this chair out of its encasement. They have used modern carbon dating technology to analyze the wood. And what did they find? They discovered that the chair is only 900 years old. It is a fake. It was never Peter's chair. It was likely the seat of some self-appointed emperor or minor official who lived 1,000 years after Peter died. Think about the implications of this. For 1,000 years, millions of prayers were directed toward a piece of rotting wood. Millions of tears were shed before it. People felt holy when they stood near it. But the holiness was not in the chair. The chair was a lie. The holiness was in the imagination of the pilgrims. Their faith created the atmosphere, but they gave the credit to the furniture. This is what you do when you believe that your job is your source of supply. You are worshiping the chair. This is what you do when you believe that a doctor is the only source of your healing. You are worshiping the chair. You are taking the creative power of your own imagination and projecting it onto an external object or person. You say, this job supports me. No, it does not. Your consciousness of abundance supports you, and the job is just the channel. You say, this medicine healed me. No, it did not. Your acceptance of health healed you, and the medicine was just the permission slip you needed to release that power. We must stop worshiping the empty relics of the world. We must stop looking for God in the museums of history. God is not a relic. God is the living, breathing, vibrating presence of your own consciousness. When you understand this, you stop begging and you start commanding. You do not command others. You command yourself. You command your own imagination to align with your desire. Scripture tells us, command ye me, who is speaking. It is the I am waiting for your instruction. Most people are afraid of this power. They want a father figure to tell them what to do. They want to remain children, but you are here because you are ready to grow up. You are ready to accept the responsibility of being God in the flesh. This brings us to the true identity of Jesus Christ. If you are still seeing Jesus as a man who lived and died and is now gone, you are missing the mystery. Jesus Christ is not a historical accident. Jesus Christ is a cosmic pattern. He is the personification of the human imagination awakening to its divinity. Christ is in you. The Bible says, do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? If he is in you, then he is your imagination. The story of the gospel is not a biography of a man named Jesus. It is the biography of the spiritual man buried within you. It is your story. You are the one who comes down from heaven, pure consciousness, and takes on the limitations of the flesh. You are the one who is crucified on the cross of the body. And you are the one who must rise from the tomb of your own skull and remember who you are. When you realize this, the Bible becomes a manual for psychological operation, not a history book. When Jesus heals the blind, it is you healing your own blindness to the truth. When he feeds the multitudes, it is you feeding your many desires with the bread of faith. When he walks on water, it is you walking over the turbulent emotions of life without sinking. You are the central character. To look for him on the outside is to look for the living among the dead. He is risen. Where? In your imagination. Now, let us discuss the greatest sin. The word sin has been twisted by religious leaders to mean breaking a moral rule. But the original meaning of the word sin is simply to miss the mark. It is an archery term. If you aim at the target and miss, you have sinned. What is the target? The target is your true identity as God. When you act like a worm, you are missing the mark. When you feel inferior, you are sinning. This is a hard teaching, but it is vital. In the book of Samuel, we read a profound statement. Those who honor me, I will honor, and those who despise me shall be lightly esteemed. Since God is your own I am, how do you honor God? You honor God by assuming the best about yourself. You honor God by walking with dignity. How do you despise God? You despise God by feeling small, by feeling unworthy, by bowing down to other men. Have you ever walked into a room and met someone very important? Maybe a wealthy tycoon, or a famous politician, or a brilliant scholar, and in their presence, you felt little. You felt like a nobody. You looked at their clothes, their confidence, their power, and you shrank. I tell you, in that moment, you were blaspheming God. You were looking at the mask of another man and worshipping it, while despising the Spirit of God within yourself. You cannot meet anyone who is more than God, and since you are God, you cannot meet anyone who is more than you. They may have more money. They may have more degrees. They may have more fame. Respect these things as part of the play. But never, ever feel that the being behind their eyes is greater than the being behind your eyes. It is the same being. It is the one God playing all the parts. If you feel inferior, you will be lightly esteemed. The world will treat you like dirt. Why? Because you are broadcasting the signal, I am dirt. And the world, being the mirror, must reflect that back to you. The waiter will ignore you. The taxi driver will be rude. The boss will overlook you, not because they are mean, but because they are confirming your own estimate of yourself. You must stop dishonoring the name of God. Stop saying I am a failure. Stop saying I am weak. Start honoring the name. Say I am success. Say I am power. Say I am love. When you honor the I am within, the world will honor you. I was born on a little island called Barbados. It was a simple place. We had large fields of sugar cane. To make the cane grow, we needed fertilizer. We didn't have the chemical factories you have today. We used the waste of animals. We called it manure. When it was time to fertilize the fields, the workers would take baskets of this manure and scatter it across the land. We called this act broadcasting. We were broadcasting manure to make things grow. Today, I look at the modern world with its televisions, its radios, its internet, and I see a different kind of broadcasting, but it is still manure. The advertisers, the news anchors, the politicians, they are broadcasting manure into your mind 24 hours a day. They tell you that you are going to lose your hair. They tell you that you are going to get sick. They tell you that you need to buy their car to be happy. They tell you that the economy is crashing. They are dumping the manure of fear and inadequacy onto the field of your imagination. And what happens when you fertilize a field? Things grow. You accept their manure, you let it sink into your subconscious, and then you grow a harvest of fear, sickness, and lack. You must stop accepting the broadcast of the world. You must realize that these people are the blind leaders of the blind. They do not know who they are. They are asleep. Why would you let a sleeping man tell you how to live? Why would you let a commercial tell you how to feel about your body? You are God. You define your own reality. You must build a mental shield against this broadcasting. When you hear a prediction of disaster, you must instantly reject it. You must say, that may be true for those who accept it, but it is not true for me. I live in the world of my own creation. This brings us to the responsibility of the Creator. If you accept that you are God, you must accept that you are responsible for everything in your life. You cannot blame your parents anymore. You cannot blame your childhood. You cannot blame the government. This is the bitter pill that you must swallow before you can taste the sweet nectar of freedom. If you created your confusion, you can create your clarity. If you created your poverty, you can create your wealth. As long as you believe the cause is outside, you are a victim. The moment you accept the cause is inside, you are free. The Bible says, "Be still and know that I am God." It does not say, "Be still and hope that God is out there." It says, "Know that I am is God." The awareness of being is the only creator. When you go into the silence, as we discussed in chapter 2, you are not visiting a foreign country. You are returning to your throne room. You are returning to the source of the river. Some of you might ask, "But Neville, if I am God, why do I suffer? Why do I have problems?" You suffer because you have forgotten who you are. You agreed to enter this dream of life. You agreed to forget your divinity so that you could rediscover it. The suffering is the alarm clock. The pain of your life is the universe shaking you, trying to wake you up. It is saying, "Wake up. You are dreaming a nightmare. Change the dream." The only reason you stay in the nightmare is because you think it is real. You think the monsters are real, but you are the dreamer. The moment you realize you are dreaming, the monsters lose their power. You can turn the monster into a butterfly if you wish, but you must wake up first. And how do we pray to this God within? We do not use the prayers of the churches. We do not beg. We do not repeat vain repetitions. We pray by appropriation. To pray is to take. It is a bold act. Jesus said, "Whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it." He did not say, "Ask and then wait to see if God says yes." He implied that the answer is always yes. Why? Because you are asking yourself. Do you think you would say no to yourself? If you are hungry and you go to the refrigerator, do you beg the refrigerator for food? No, you open the door and take what is yours. The universe is your refrigerator. It is stocked with every possible reality. Health is there. Wealth is there. Love is there. You do not beg for it. You open the door of imagination and you appropriate it. You assume the feeling of it. That is true prayer. When you walk down the street, talk to yourself. But talk as a king. Do not mutter complaints. Say to yourself, "I am the resurrection and the life." Say it until you feel the energy of it rising in your spine. I am the resurrection. What are you resurrecting? You are resurrecting your dead dreams. You are resurrecting your health. You are resurrecting your bank account. You have the power to breathe life into the dead facts of your existence and make them live again. But you must speak with the authority of God. If you find yourself in a situation where you need help, do not pick up the phone first. Go within. Sit in your chair, close your eyes, gather your scattered thoughts, and speak to the I am. Say, "Father, I have dreamed a bad dream. I have dreamed of lack. Now I wish to dream a noble dream. I thank you that this is done." And then feel the relief. That Father you are speaking to is your own greater dimension. It is the part of you that sees the whole picture. There is a beautiful mystery in the relationship between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the Son. The subconscious mind is the Father. The Son plants the seed, the ID. The Father grows the seed, the manifestation. Jesus said, "I and my Father are one, but my Father is greater than I." This means that your conscious imagination and your subconscious power are one being, but the subconscious has the power to execute that the conscious mind does not. You cannot make your heart beat. You cannot make your hair grow. The Father subconscious does that. But you, the conscious mind, can choose the state. You choose the seed. The Father grows it. So honor the Father by choosing noble seeds. Do not plant weeds and expect roses. Let us return to the chair of Peter. Let that rotting piece of wood be a reminder to you forever. The world is full of fake relics. The world is full of empty promises. Do not put your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom there is no help. Put your trust in your own wonderful human imagination. That is the rock. That is the true foundation. If you build your house on that rock, the winds of the world can blow. The rains of the economy can fall, the floods of disaster can rise, but your house will not fall, because it is founded on the knowledge of who you are. You are not a body, you are not a name on a birth certificate, you are the eternal, immortal, invisible dreamer who has dreamt himself into this room right now, and one day you will awake from this dream of life. You will take off this garment of flesh, and you will realize that you were never born and you will never die. You are part of the one great being who is God. But until that final awakening, you have a job to do. Your job is to create. Your job is to manifest heaven on earth. Your job is to prove the law. So, I challenge you. Stop looking for God in the sky. Stop looking for Him in the past. Look in the mirror. Look into your own eyes and say to the being you see there, I am. Feel the vibration of it. That is the only God you will ever find. And He is enough. He is more than enough. He is the kingdom, the power, and the glory. As we prepare to move to the conclusion of this lecture, I want you to strip away every vestige of false humility. False humility is arrogance in disguise. It is refusing to accept the gift God gave you. God gave you His own self. To say I am just a worm is to throw the gift back in His face. Stand up. Straighten your spine. Claim your inheritance. You are the operant power. The world is waiting for you to issue the command. The God you pray to is waiting for you to realize that He and you are one. We have now reached the end of our verbal journey together, but in truth we have only arrived at the beginning of your real work. Up until this moment you have been a listener and I have been a speaker. We have shared ideas. We have explored the mechanics of the universe. We have dissected the nature of God and the mystery of the human imagination. But words, no matter how true or how eloquent, are not power. Words are merely the signposts that point toward power. You can stand under a signpost that says New York for 100 years and you will never get to New York. You must move. You must act. You must apply. This final chapter is titled The Invitation, because I am inviting you to step away from the signpost and start walking the path. I am inviting you to leave the comfortable armchair of theory and enter the laboratory of your own life. You are the scientist, and you are the experiment. The chemical you are testing is your own consciousness. The result you are seeking is a life of total freedom. There is a statement in Scripture that serves as the ultimate challenge to every seeker of truth. It says, examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith, prove your own selves. Do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you unless you be reprobates? This is not a polite suggestion, it is a dare. The writer is saying, do not take my word for it. Do not believe it just because a man named Neville told you it is true. Do not believe it because you read it in a holy book. Believe it only when you have proved it in the testing ground of your own experience. If Jesus Christ is indeed your own wonderful human imagination, then He must be tested. You would not buy a car without driving it. You would not marry a stranger without courting them. Why then would you base your life on a philosophy you have not tested? You must take this law of assumption and you must bend it and twist it and apply it to the hardest facts of your life to see if it holds up. I tell you it will hold up. It is the only thing that will hold up. But you must be the one to apply the pressure. The invitation I offer you today is an invitation to greatness. But greatness has a price. The price is not money. You cannot buy this wisdom. The price is your limitations. The price is your old story. You must be willing to give up the luxury of being a victim. You must be willing to give up the comfort of blaming your parents or the economy or the government. You must be willing to stand entirely alone in the consciousness of I am and take full responsibility for your world. This is a high price for the ego to pay. The ego loves to suffer because suffering gives it an identity. The ego loves to complain because complaining gets it attention. I am asking you to starve the ego so that the God within you can breathe. I am asking you to stop telling the story of what is wrong and start vibrating the story of what is right. Many of you will hear this message and you will feel a temporary thrill. You will feel the fire of possibility. But then you will turn off this video and you will go back to your old routine. You will go back to reacting to the news. You will go back to arguing with your family. You will go back to feeling small. If you do that, you are like a man who looks in the mirror, sees that his face is dirty, and then walks away and forgets to wash it. Do not be a forgetful hero. Be a doer of the work. The work is not physical labor. The work is the mental discipline of maintaining the high vibration we have discussed. The work is the constant, vigilant pruning of your own thoughts. Every time a negative suggestion tries to enter your mind, you must be the guard at the gate. You must say, halt. Does this thought serve my new identity? If it does not, you must reject it. You must cast it into the fire of silence. This is the work. It is harder than digging ditches, but the reward is a kingdom. I want to challenge you to a specific test. I want you to take one desire, just one. Do not scatter your energy. Pick the thing that you want most in this world right now. It might be a sum of money. It might be a specific job. It might be the healing of a physical condition. Define it clearly. Do not worry about how it will come. Do not worry about if it is possible. Just define what you want. Now, I want you to commit to a specific period of time. Let us say 7 days. For the next 7 days, you are going to live as if you already have this thing. You are going to apply the law of assumption with the fanaticism of the lottery winner we spoke about. You are going to wake up every morning and put on the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You are going to walk through your day in the mood of success. You are going to fall asleep every night in the assumption that your prayer has already been answered. During these 7 days, you will face challenges. The mirror of reality will try to show you the old reflection. Your senses will scream at you. Your doubts will whisper to you. This is the crucible. This is where the gold is refined. When the doubt comes, you must not fight it. You must simply replace it. You must turn your back on it and return to the feeling. If you can do this for 7 days, if you can remain loyal to the unseen reality for just 1 week, you will see a crack in the wall. You will see a bridge of incidents begin to form. You will get a phone call. You will have an idea. You will meet a stranger. Something will happen to confirm that you have touched the hem of the garment of God. And once you have that first confirmation, you will never be the same. You will know that you hold the key to the prison. This invitation is also a call to join a brotherhood of awakened souls. You are not alone in this work. All over the world, there are men and women who are waking up from the long sleep of history. They are realizing that they are not cogs in a machine, but creators of the machine. When you subscribe to this channel, when you share this message, you are not just clicking a button. You are signaling to the universe that you are ready to be part of this great awakening. You are joining a community of vibration. We are broadcasting a new signal to humanity, a signal of hope, a signal of power, a signal of love. The more of us who hold this vibration, the easier it becomes for others to wake up. We are the leaven that leavens the whole loaf. Your individual awakening helps to save the world. By saving yourself from poverty, you help end poverty. By saving yourself from sickness, you help end sickness. You are the savior of your world, and by extension, the world. Now, I want to address the skeptics one last time. The skeptic says, this is too easy. If it were this simple, everyone would be rich and happy. I tell you, it is simple, but it is not easy. It is the hardest thing in the world to control your own mind. It is easier to walk to the moon than to control your thoughts for 1 minute. That is why so few succeed. They lack the discipline. They lack the persistence. They try it for 10 minutes and then give up. I am inviting you to be the exception. I am inviting you to be the elite. Not the elite of money or bloodline, but the elite of consciousness. The aristocracy of the spirit. The only thing standing between you and your dream is the discipline to maintain the vibration of the wish fulfilled. Let us review the tools you have been given in this lecture series. You have the tool of vibration, which teaches you that feeling is the secret language of the universe. You have the tool of the still small voice, which teaches you how to access the creative silence. You have the tool of the mirror, which teaches you that the world is only a reflection of your inner state. You have the tool of the lottery testimony, which proves that the law works even against impossible odds. You have the tool of faith, which teaches you to trust the invisible over the visible. And you have the knowledge of the true God, the I Am within you. Your toolbox is full. You have everything you need to build a masterpiece. The question is, will you pick up the tools and build, or will you let them rust while you complain about the weather? The time for complaining is over. The time for excuses is dead. You are standing on holy ground. You are standing in the presence of your own potential. I want you to feel the weight of this moment. Your future is not set in stone. Your future is fluid. It is clay in the hands of the potter, and you are the potter. You can smash the old vessel of failure and mold a new vessel of success right now. It does not take time. It takes intensity. It takes a radical shift in perception. As we prepare to close this session and enter the silence together, I want you to think about what you are going to do tonight. Tonight is the most important night of your life. Every night is the most important night, because tonight, as you drift off to sleep, you have the opportunity to impress your subconscious mind with a new blueprint. Do not waste tonight. Do not fall asleep worrying about tomorrow's problems. That is a misuse of your creative power. Tonight, as your head hits the pillow, I want you to play a new scene. I want you to feel the ring on your finger. I want you to feel the keys to the new car. I want you to feel the embrace of the loved one. I want you to sleep in the assumption that you are who you want to be. Sleep is the gateway to the subconscious. What you carry into sleep, you carry into the world of creation. Now, I am going to guide you into that silence. I am going to guide you into the state akin to sleep where miracles happen. This is not just a meditation, this is a rehearsal. This is you practicing your role as the operant power. I ask you to get comfortable. If you are driving, just listen. But if you can, sit or lie down. Close your eyes. Let the world fade away. Let the noise of the day dissolve. Listen to the sound of my voice, but listen deeper to the silence behind the voice. Take a deep breath. Inhale the feeling of peace. Exhale the vibration of worry. Do it again. Inhale possibility. Exhale limitation. You are now entering the Holy of Holies. You are entering the chamber of the I Am. In this space, there is no time. There is no past. There is no future. There is only the eternal, now. In this space, you are not a body. You are a field of awareness. You are pure potential. I want you to bring your desire into this silence. Do not bring the problem, bring the answer. If you want health, do not bring the sickness. Bring the feeling of vitality. If you want money, do not bring the bills. Bring the feeling of overflow. Imagine now that you are surrounded by a mist of light. This mist is the substance of God. It is responsive to your every thought. I want you to formulate a short phrase that implies your wish is fulfilled. A phrase like, "Isn't it wonderful?" Or, "Thank you, Father." Or, "It is done." Or, simply, "I am wealthy." Repeat this phrase in your mind. Do not shout it. Whisper it like a lullaby. Let it float in the mist. Feel the words sinking into the depth of your being. Isn't it wonderful? Feel the reaction in your body. Feel the tension melting away. Feel the smile forming on your face. Not a physical smile, but an inner smile. The smile of someone who knows a secret. The secret is that you have already won. The battle is over. You have claimed the victory in the silence. Stay in this feeling. If a thought of the world tries to intrude, gently push it away. Say to the thought, "I have no time for you. I am busy creating." And return to the feeling, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." Feel the gratitude welling up in your heart. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. You cannot be grateful for something you don't have. So by feeling grateful, you are tricking the universe into believing you have it. And the universe, loving to be tricked in this way, will rush to confirm it. Feel the reality of your desire. It is solid, it is real, it is yours. You do not need to ask for permission. You are the king. Take it, wear it, become it. Now, as you hold this high vibration, I want you to make a promise to yourself. Promise that when you open your eyes, you will not deny what you have just done. You will not look at the world and say, it was just a daydream. You will look at the world and say, that was the reality, and this world is just the shadow catching up. You will walk through your day with the secret knowledge that the seed has been planted. You will not dig it up. You will water it with faith. You will water it with thanksgiving. This is the invitation. Will you accept it? Will you dare to be the God that you are? The world is waiting for your answer. The world is groaning in pain, waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God. That is you. The world needs you to wake up. Your family needs you to wake up. Your future self is begging you to wake up. So, wake up. Rise from the tomb of your limitations. Roll away the stone of doubt and come forth. Come forth as the radiant, powerful, creative being you were destined to be before the foundations of the world. And now, I leave you with this final thought. You are never alone. The I Am is always with you. It is closer to you than your breathing, nearer than your hands and feet. Turn to it, trust it, lean on it. It will never fail you. It has never failed anyone who truly tested it. Go now and prove the law. Go now and be the miracle. Go now and remember who you are. I am sending you out as sheep among wolves, but you are wolves in sheep's clothing. You have the power. Use it wisely. Use it lovingly. And when the harvest comes, and it surely will, remember where it came from. It came from the silence. It came from the vibration. It came from you. If this message has touched your spirit, if it has sparked a fire in your soul, then do not let the fire go out. Subscribe to this channel. Join our community. Let us keep the fire burning together. Share this with someone who is sleeping. Be the alarm clock for a friend. Let us create a wave of awakening that sweeps across the earth. It starts with you. It starts now. It is done. Thank you, and go in peace. If this message has sparked a fire in your soul, do not let it die out. This is your home for spiritual mastery. Subscribe to the channel now and share this video with someone who needs to wake up. Remember, you are the operant power, the master.